Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial in here toll free, take control of the airwaves, and bring up, well, anything that you want. We're here on the radio tonight. It's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
And, of course, you can bring up anything that's the point of the show. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And then we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. If you want to sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us, definitely get on over on that Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. A little bit more election recap then coming up. Well, Darryl, you've got the story about Venezuela and their continuing failure that the Venezuelan bolivar is seeing with insane levels of hyperinflation, even after their magical fix that they tried to put in place back in August of dropping 5 zeros off of their already hyperinflated currency. As though anyone thought that was actually going to work. Well, turns out it didn't work.
Right.
And we'll tell you more about that coming up here. Plus, Chris Wade's joining us from Think Penguin and his video program, which is Freedom Decrypted, over at freedomdecrypted.com. I think we should announce that that show is now available in audio form on lrn.fm in our podcast lineup. So welcome aboard, Chris, finally.
It is. It's very exciting to be on LRN FM.
And now that means you also have a podcast available, so any listeners who want to follow your show and subscribe directly to it, they can now do that with an MP3 and an OGG, I believe, podcast. You've got two different podcasts.
There's, I think, I don't remember exactly what we have. We have MP3s
and OGG
files for both.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've linked to the MP3 one or if
it's on your front page.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
So head on over to freedomdecrypted.com. You can find that there. Just again, I think you guys apparently mentioned this last night, Darryl, but the ballot initiatives on cannabis were mostly successful in the United States this week.
Yeah, I think we touched very briefly on it, but we didn't go into any kind of details.
According to Huffington Post and HuffPost.com, there were victories in Michigan, Missouri, and of all places, Utah. So 3 more states either legalized cannabis for recreational or medical use this week. Voters in Michigan legalized recreational cannabis, making them the 10th state in the nation and the first state in the Midwest to do so. In both Utah and Missouri, voters legalized cannabis for medical purposes, being the 31st and 32nd state to approve medical cannabis. I thought there were more than that. Oh, maybe it's CBDs.
Right, so it depends on really how you count. So if you include states that allow for use of CBD or states that allow for what's referred to as an affirmative defense, to where you get arrested, you get charged, you go to court and you say, hey, judge, I've got this medical problem, I'm taking it for medical purposes, and then the judge would say, oh, well, that's a valid defense, but it's not statutorily authorized where you can go to a place and purchase it.
Got it. So, yeah, depending on how you count, sounds like this is cannabis with THC. So I'm guessing the 31st and 32nd states with THC.
Where a doctor can prescribe and you can actually go to a location and legally obtain.
Right. In North Dakota, unfortunately, voters rejected a measure that would have legalized recreational cannabis. Not just any old measure, though. The North Dakotan proposal was pretty amazing. I don't know if you heard anything about it, but the proposal on the ballot...
I heard a little bit, but I don't remember the details.
Yeah, this is what we want, basically. This, to me, would have been the ideal situation for cannabis. Let me see if it actually says what this does. I've got Ballotpedia pulled up here. A yes vote supported the ballot initiative to legalize the recreational use of marijuana in the state of North Dakota for people 21 years of age or older and create an automatic expungement process for individuals with convictions for a controlled substance that has been legalized. There was more here, though, because I remember reading that this actually basically just stripped away prohibition, that the initiative in North Dakota would actually have just gotten rid of prohibition, and essentially you would be able to, here it is, under the measure, individuals over the age of 21. Now, obviously, I think that anybody, no matter what their age, should be able to do this, but regardless, get the rest of this.
Of course.
Could not have been prosecuted in any court for charges relating to any nonviolent marijuana-related activity except distribution to someone under 21. These activities would have included growing, selling, distributing, and smoking. So basically, they would have, if this passed, and unfortunately only about 40% of North Dakotan voters voted for this, this would have stripped away any kind of regulation when it comes to cannabis. There would have been no legalization scheme, because normally when these states are legalizing cannabis, it comes along with a regulation and taxation scheme. This would simply have stricken all of that and made it so anybody who wants to grow, sell, distribute, possess, smoke, vaporize, whatever with cannabis would have been a completely legal act, with the exception of sales to under the age of 21.
You know what I find that kind of interesting? Usually we are more lenient, or supposedly we're more lenient with juveniles. So does it remain a criminal when they legalize it for people over 21? Does it remain a criminal, like some sort of criminal
for 18 to 21?
Yes. It would wind up. If you're over the age of 21 and you sell to someone under the age of 21, that would be a criminal act
for the person selling, but also for the person receiving.
It wouldn't be likely as
like one paragraph ballot measure doesn't specify.
It would likely continue as a misdemeanor or whatever it would have been previous. However,
seems so insane.
The initiated measure would amend the North Dakota Century Code, I guess that's what they call their statutes there, by removing hashish, marijuana, and tetrahydrocannabinols from the list of Schedule I controlled substances. And then it says here it would create a different chapter which would define the terms marijuana and marijuana paraphernalia, and then prohibit the prosecution of any person over the age of 21 for any nonviolent marijuana-related activity. And it doesn't say anything here.
It also doesn't say that regulations can't be introduced.
Doesn't say that, but it doesn't introduce them. Whereas what we've seen in every other state, including the proposals made here in New Hampshire, have been pages and pages and pages of regulations. This is just strike that from Schedule 1. And make it legal for anyone over the age of 21 to grow, sell, possess, distribute. That is pretty darn good. That is the best proposal that I have seen thus far across the board, across all of the United States. That's the best. Better than Canada, better than Uruguay, better than any other system of legalized cannabis.
What about Europe, where they decriminalized all drugs?
You talking about Portugal?
Yeah, Portugal.
So Portugal, it's only decriminalized to possess small amounts, personal amounts of all drugs.
Would that not still be better than?
No, we're just talking about marijuana here.
Okay.
So that's better for other drugs because those other drugs are still illegal in North Dakota. But in the case of North Dakota on cannabis, if this were to have passed, this would have completely made it. If you had 100 pounds of marijuana, it would be legal.
Oh. Wow.
If you were growing an entire warehouse full of plants, it would be legal.
That is interesting.
Nonviolent marijuana-related activities, including growing, manufacturing, distributing, selling, or testing.
Yeah. So everything you could possibly
paraphernalia.
Do. Right.
So in Portugal, it's only possession of
small amounts.
They say small amounts, but they wind up calculating a 10-day supply. Which, in the U.S.,
so an ounce.
You've got a 10-day supply of something, they're hitting you with intent to distribute.
No doubt.
But this, much better because it would allow for distribution.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
Oh, wow.
Without all of the BS regulations that go along with it in the other states. In other states, if you want to grow, you've got to tag every single plant with like an RFID chipped tag.
Wait, really?
There's an insane level of regulation. You've got to have there's all these regulations on labeling requirements. There's regulations on testing. So you have to not only tag every single plant, but you've got to track all the tags when they're going from place to place because they're super worried about weed floating out of the legal system and going into the black market, which of course it does all the time. So obviously they figured out ways around that. But either way, it's a huge burden on these growers and the distributors. In North Dakota, they would have just had none of that. It would have just been a legal product. Just like tomatoes, except for the prohibition under 21. That's the only thing that's imperfect about this. Otherwise, this is the ideal. I hope that we can see some state do this. Sadly, North Dakota voters only voted about 40% for what would have essentially been total cannabis freedom. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash, BCH. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com. Pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight, and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us right here toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the successful and the one not successful cannabis decrim / legalization / medical cannabis ballot initiatives that were on the ballot this week here. And a few of them actually passed, which of course is to be expected because finally people in the United States are moving in the right direction on this issue. It was actually apparently Michigan, as well as so Michigan legalized it for recreational. Utah and Missouri, interestingly, did medical legalization. And sadly, North Dakota, which had the best measure that I've seen so far, which would have totally ended prohibition on cannabis for anyone over the age of 21, meaning you could sell, you could grow, you could distribute, you can smoke, you can possess.
Large quantities.
Whatever you want, with no governmental permission whatsoever. They would have stricken cannabis from the Schedule 1 narcotics, which would have been amazing if that actually passed. It would have been tremendous. And it would have been tremendous for the North Dakotan economy. I mean, think about the frustrations that these producers must have with all these ridiculous regulations that they've got to follow. Or you can just move to North Dakota and then not have to follow those regulations, although I imagine if you wanted to ship it into the other states, they might require it. But either way...
Well, it's still federally illegal to ship it across state lines.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but don't they consider it illegal at the federal level anyway, even within a state?
Yeah, it depends who you ask.
Wasn't there an argument like years ago, a court case that went up?
Well, Obama made a policy to leave them alone.
But that was rescinded by Jeff Sessions.
Right, but that's a policy decision, not the legal situation.
Technically, it's illegal.
The law says that it is a federal offense.
Right. And
now, the head of the Department of Justice can make a policy decision about whether or not the Department of Justice is going to strictly enforce something. Just, the Attorney General could say, that's not a top priority for us. We're going to go after other things. And then they just sort of, don't really look for it. But if it's right in their face, all right, we'll go ahead and do something. But, yeah, it's one of those things to where thus far it's been mostly hands-off, and I'm using air quotes there because in California, a lot of the medical dispensaries have been raided, even during the Obama administration.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We can talk more about the cannabis measures here in moments, but the phones are open, 855-450-FREE if you want to join us, 855-450-3733. Let's talk to Aaron. He's in Oklahoma, and you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's on your mind?
I was just calling because I know you've been doing election, the post-game show, for the lack of better. And
yes,
while you were talking about cannabis, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, Lord, what a beautiful world it would be if everyone could do what North Dakota was trying to do. But going to that, I feel like here in Oklahoma, we had a pretty good success rate. We were able to maintain ballot access for the Libertarian Party going through 2022.
Congrats.
Nice.
Our gubernatorial candidate was able to hit 3.4%. And surprisingly, to me at least, our candidate for state auditor inspector, which would have been fantastic to have a Libertarian in office, actually netted 25% of the total vote.
That was a two-way race, correct?
It was. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the total numbers, yes, he got drubbed, but 25% is nothing to shake a stick at by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's also not close.
Right, but when ballot access depends on a statewide candidate getting, what is it, in Oklahoma, 20%, I think? Then, if you focus somebody in one of those two-way races, you have a much better shot.
I think we were only actually supposed to be at 3% for ballot access, if I remember correctly. It was something around, for the gubernatorial candidate, 40,000 votes would have guaranteed ballot access.
Okay, yeah, I know that
several candidates clear that benchmark.
I know there are a couple of states to where it is 20%. Alabama is one of them. And it's only been done once or twice ever, and it's been one of those, low-level statewide offices. Here in New Hampshire, where we are, it's only the governor or U.S. Senate.
It's very hard to do it here in
And there
New
aren't
Hampshire.
any other statewide offices.
Correct. And almost everybody did 2-ish% this time around.
And I know for us it was pretty energizing for the folks here at the Oklahoma Libertarian Party, and the discussion that shifted to how to keep that momentum going forward. What can we do to stop every 4 to 6 months before election and try to keep driving? So I feel like there's a lot of positive energy coming out in Oklahoma. I know we had 5 proposals that came up. Only one of them got passed through. It was based on Marcy's Law. And the other ones that would have basically added to government got handily slapped down by the entirety of the state. So,
well, that's good to know. There was, there was some good news here with the ballot measures that one of them basically made it so you don't need to have standing in a court case in order to file some sort of...
No, it said that taxpayers automatically have standing in cases against a government.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Where previously they would come up with all of these justifications why there was no standing without ever hearing the merits. This will guarantee that you have standing, and then they look at the merits.
Then they'll kick out the case after that. But at the very least...
And then the other one added a right to privacy.
Correct. Into the Constitution.
Specifically, privacy from government intrusion.
Right. So those are good things, and those were voted for over 80% of the state. I'm glad to hear that you guys are having some success, Aaron. Unfortunately, I feel like it will only just distract people from what is ultimately the best strategy, which, of course, is to move to New Hampshire and join the
I agree with
migration.
That. I haven't yet pledged, but I do intend on moving to New Hampshire when it becomes more fiscally viable. But I'll do what I can here for Oklahoma while I'm here, and then when I get to New Hampshire, I intend on jumping on board full steam ahead.
Great. Good plan, dude. Anything else you want to share tonight?
No, you guys have been wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. That's Aaron in Oklahoma. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. Tom is in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Yeah, it's about the mass shooting in Thousand Oaks, California, where that creep, that furious man, they're trying to figure out...
Is this a breaking news item? Because I haven't been paying attention at all to the news.
That was actually the day before yesterday.
Okay.
And the thing is that, I suspect that you can talk sense to these people, but most folks don't want anybody talking sense to the tomorrow's mass shooter, because in order to talk sense to them, you would have to make sense. And most people, see, if you're griping about serious problems like public schools and zoning restrictions and drug laws, most people don't want those problems to be solved. They don't want those problems to be eliminated, so they don't want to really talk to these people about, the real anything sensible. They say, but that's the will of the people, which is a lie, because as your geometry teacher no doubt told you, for a statement to be true, it has to be true for all cases, and not all people support those laws.
Not only that, but the voters that tend to vote in any election are not even close to a majority. They're not a majority of the people who vote, and then, of course, of those who actually vote for the winner, they're a fraction of a minority, basically. So it's never the will of the people. It's just what the politicians want to do.
Yeah, I think here in New Hampshire, we did just barely get a majority of registered voters.
Thank you, Tom, for the call tonight. There's more coming up here in moments. I do have a story about this guy, apparently a former Marine, so government-trained killer. Shot
he was taught how to kill.
Yeah, shot 12 people to death.
That surprised me.
Inside a California bar. We'll come back with more. You can share your thoughts as well. It's Free Talk Live.
What if there was a social media network only for the conservative?
What if there was a social media network not only for the conservative right general public, but also a platform for conservative politicians and advertisers?
And what if this social media network was the only free speech network in existence?
There is. It's rightsocial.net.
Rightsocial.net, a response to President Donald Trump's direct presidential order.
Rightsocial.net, where you have the right to freely speak your mind.
Rightsocial.net, the right place to be.
Epigenetics and the Sins of the Father. God Said, Man Said.com. U.S. colleges, new mental institutions. Close Satan's secret door. God Said, Man Said.com. Mummies and the Sons of Ham. Alcohol and Christians. Geologists say yes to crucifixion. God Said, Man Said.com. Which religion? Which Bible? Quantum physics to Adam's rib. Hours of text and streaming audio. God Said, Man Said.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Saying that a few images of displaced refugees would probably do the trick, Americans admitted this week that they could probably be talked into another war. Citizens nationwide told reporters that if they were to see a blurry satellite image of potential nuclear weapons or footage of an evil militant group, they could easily see themselves getting on board with another major military effort.
I'm not saying I'd be gung-ho about it right away, but if they called it something like a concentrated military operation or something other than war at first, I could see myself warming up to the idea. Honestly, just hearing a top official on TV say something like patriotic duty might clinch it.
And in this week's op-ed pages, an area man finds it's just his luck to lose thousands at the blackjack tables every night for the past few weeks. In other news, a senator tries submitting a rejected bill to the Canadian Parliament. What mom would have wanted is evolving over the course of funeral planning. And a new report finds you're actually saving money with a Franklin Skate Center roller rink membership.
This is the Onion News Network. Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you are invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just head over to discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into one of them. There's 4 of them right there at the top of the list of various different chat rooms and such that allow you to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners. Your property and your family are precious. You can protect them with Blink. The Blink motion-activated HD cameras, they are wireless and they set up fast because they're wireless. It is a huge pain if you ever get one of those wired security systems to have to run the wires through walls or however it is you're going to get them from the sort of the base station to the cameras. It's wireless, so you just unbox them, put the batteries in, which last up to 2 years, by the way, and they are just AA, so it's super easy to get more of them. It's not like some special kind of battery. So you just put the batteries in and put up the cameras wherever you want them. You need to get a different angle, just move the cam, no problem. And, of course, there's a live feed option to allow you to monitor what's going on anytime you want, but also you can set the cameras up to operate during the times that you specify, and then it'll send you clips of any motion that goes on in front of them. There's no contracts, there's no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. That's because Blink is an Amazon company. And they were purchased by Amazon because they thought the product was that great. Get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100. No contracts or subscriptions. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. So the other good news here about cannabis. Again, North Dakota's ballot measure did not pass. But I don't know if you mentioned this on the air, Darryl, but apparently North Dakota had just passed last year medical.
Right. Yeah, we had mentioned that, I think, a couple of days before the election, where we were going over the different states that were voting on some kind of cannabis thing. And in Utah, I know you seemed very surprised that it passed. It was pretty well known that it was going to pass in Utah, which really upset the super conservatives out there.
Yeah,
but
I actually got an article about it.
They knew that the voters in Utah were going to pass it.
Right.
The one politician, I forget which one it was, he said, first tea, then coffee, now this.
Orrin Hatch said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was actually pretty funny. But we'll get into Utah here in a moment because there's a little piece from the folks over at the Universal Life Church on inside the Mormon Church's stunning about face on cannabis.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Mormon Church? The one that doesn't even allow alcohol?
That's the one. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that. But first, the summary here, because again, we talked mostly about North Dakota and how its measure, which would have completely ended prohibition on cannabis with the exception of under 21s, meaning you could grow, you could sell, you could distribute, you could possess, you could smoke, you can do whatever basically you want with it. That one unfortunately did not pass, but hopefully we're going to see other states try that. Hopefully somebody in New Hampshire, maybe one of these liberty-friendly representatives, will put forward a end prohibition legalization bill rather than the typical legalization bills, which have a bunch of regulations and allow the government to control it. I want to see that happen.
The Commission to Study Regulation and whatnot of Cannabis did recommend a tax and regulate.
Surprise! A bunch of cops on a commission came back and said, "Oh yeah, let's if we can't have it illegal, let's control it."
Right. That's the surprise, that the group of cops and lawyers and like one or two people from organizations that were supportive of cannabis, it was mostly people that were opposed.
Well, I understood that they said if you're going to legalize it, then this is what you should do, but that they opposed the legalization.
I believe they, in the report, said we're not going to vote whether to recommend legislation or not.
Because the police chiefs came out.
If you pass it, then this is... So it basically read of... We're recommending tax and regulate.
Of course they are. The police chiefs did come out with a statement against legalization and with all kinds of, the typical fear-mongering.
They got to get their money somewhere. It's got to be replaced by something.
Well, this would be new money.
Hold on. No, you save money by not throwing people in prison.
Right, or enforcing the laws or whatever. But this would be new money into the system. This doesn't replace any money. So not only are you saving money out the gate.
Would the fines not go away?
Yeah, they would go away if there were illegal cannabis.
Okay, so
but it costs more to put somebody behind bars than the amount of money that they got in a fine.
Well, they would say that there's nobody going behind bars because of cannabis these days.
Right. And
possession.
On paper, it's like 3 layers deep. Right, so the person is serving 6 months for violating probation, but the only reason they were on probation is because they got hit with possession of cannabis, and the violation of probation was possession of cannabis.
Yep, but that doesn't show up as cannabis.
But on paper, it shows up as VOP.
Correct.
People are sitting in prison for cannabis.
No doubt, I agree with you. I'm just telling you what they would say. And they have said it over and over again. Ad infinitum.
It wouldn't be the first time I've heard that either.
Yeah. So this from the executive director of the Marijuana Policy Project, saying that Michigan, which legalized recreational cannabis, making it the 10th state in the nation, he says this is yet another historic election for the movement to end marijuana prohibition, saying that voters have once again sent a message loud and clear that it's time to legalize and regulate marijuana, which is my problem with Marijuana Policy Project. That's all they ever recommend is legalization and regulation. The victory in Michigan highlights just how widespread support is for marijuana policy reform, and this issue does not only enjoy the strong support on the coasts, but also in the Midwest and all throughout the country. Unquote. Michigan voters approved Proposal 1, allowing adults 21 and older to buy, grow, use, and possess cannabis for recreational purposes. Under the measure, adults can be in possession of 2.5 ounces of marijuana, a provision similar to the state's medical marijuana law approved in 2008. Adults can also grow up to 12 marijuana plants in their homes for personal use, and additionally, the initiative legalizes the cultivation of industrial hemp, which can be used to make textiles, biofuels, and foods. Voters in Missouri were considering 3 separate proposals to legalize medical cannabis on their ballot, and all 3 aimed to legalize the use, purchase, and possession of cannabis for medical purposes and would allow the state to set up a regulatory framework for licensed dispensaries. On Tuesday night, just one of the proposals passed. Amendment 2 legalized medical cannabis and imposes a 4% tax on all marijuana sales. That revenue will be used for healthcare services for veterans. And then finally, in Utah, the Salt Lake Tribune projected that voters would approve Proposition 2, which allows patients to legally use, possess, and purchase cannabis for medical purposes for conditions such as HIV, multiple sclerosis, post-traumatic stress disorder, epilepsy, autism, cancer, and Alzheimer's. During any 14-day period, a state-licensed cardholder could purchase as much as 2 ounces of cannabis. The measure would ban the smoking of marijuana, but does allow for vaping, marijuana-infused edibles, and other means of consumption. So it's Utah, but it's progress.
Yes.
For Utah. Beginning in 2021, medical marijuana cardholders who live more than 100 miles from a state-licensed dispensary would be allowed to grow as many as 6 cannabis plants for personal medicinal use. However, access to legal marijuana for medical purposes was likely in the state, regardless if the measure passed. In October, Utah medical marijuana advocates and state lawmakers agreed to a compromise bill that would legalize medical cannabis in the state, but with some differences from the ballot initiative. The most significant changes in the bill include that some qualifying conditions would be removed while others would be added. Local jurisdictions would have more power to ban dispensaries in their regions. That's not good. Yeah, dispensaries would be forced to have a licensed pharmacist on staff. That's not good. And the shops would be renamed to pharmacies, and edibles would be banned along with smoking. Not good. But other ways to consume cannabis would still be allowed.
Hold on. So they're banning edibles and smoking?
If the bill passes. So
so
ballot,
that would allow injecting or something?
No.
Vape. Do people inject cannabis?
That would allow vaping.
Okay.
That's about it.
And like the creams, I guess.
I guess, yeah. The bill requires a full vote in the legislature and a signature from the governor to become law. And the governor, Gary Herbert, who's a Republican, has called for a special session in an effort to pass the compromise bill.
Would a tincture be considered an edible?
It just goes under your tongue, right? I don't know.
Cannabis-infused sodas?
That's an edible.
Is it?
You're drinking it.
You drink it.
Yeah.
You don't eat it.
I don't know. All right, there's more coming up here. If you want to share your thoughts, you can bring up what you want as cannabis legalization measures move forward slowly but surely across the United States. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. This is Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and join us here on the radio. Take control of the airwaves. Toll-free, 855-450-FREE is the number. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open for you over at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
So, lots in the news to discuss. We've been talking about the medical and legalization of cannabis initiatives that mostly passed this week, and apparently Michigan, now the 10th state in the United States to have legalized recreational use of cannabis, whereas Utah and Missouri are the, I believe, 31st and 32nd states, depending on how you count, that have legalized some form of THC-based cannabis for medicinal purposes. And a lot of people are going to, be raising their eyebrows at the fact that Utah is, not the last state.
Yeah, I certainly have.
To do it.
I knew some Mormons.
Really?
And,
in Jersey?
No, out in California.
Okay.
When I was living there for a very short, brief time. And they were definitely, they were no alcohol, no drugs,
right,
and
no caffeine.
Yeah, no caffeine.
Right.
So, and I remember them. I remember the one gentleman not having so much a problem with us drinking, like other people drinking who were not Mormon. But you had to bring your own alcohol and so on. But he refrained from drinking, and so I thought that was quite interesting. And it kind of reminds me of Muslims, I guess, where they have I guess Muslims, they have a strict kind of code where they don't do drugs or drink either.
Well, so if it's necessary, as I understand it, and I'm not a Muslim, but obviously we both know Will Coley very well,
sure.
Who's the host of Call to Freedom, and what he's explained to me is that if you need something for medicinal purposes, that's okay.
Fair enough.
But if you're
recreational,
if you're using,
I think what we're talking about,
right? If you're just using to get high, then that's not okay.
Right, and then there's also, as I understand it, different sort of interpretations of intoxicants.
There certainly are. But now again, that's for Muslim. I don't know what the Mormons say about it. Here's what the folks over at this is the Universal Life Church, which is a really interesting church. And I think, Darryl, you and I are both ministers at the ULC. But I get their newsletter. I think they do it weekly. And it's always got some really interesting kind of religious headlines. They pay attention to a lot of what's going on in the news in other religions around the planet. And so this is coming from their website, the Universal Life Church Monastery. Headline, Inside the Mormon Church's Stunning About-Face on Cannabis. It seems the Mormon Church has finally come around to the benefits of medical marijuana, breaking with its own long-standing prohibition on substances of all types, including alcohol, tobacco, illegal drugs, and even coffee. LDS leadership has reluctantly sided with pot activists to back legislation allowing medical marijuana to be sold in Utah. With considerable religious weight now behind the movement for legal pot, it looks likely that medicinal marijuana will soon become a reality in the traditionally conservative state. And this was written, obviously, before the vote this week, which did indeed approve the ballot measure to allow this for cannabis for medical purposes. The monumental shift in Mormon thinking should not be understated. LDS members adhere to very strict health guidelines known as the, quote, Word of Wisdom, which dictates that illegal drugs can especially destroy those who use them. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' sudden about-face came after months of fierce debate, during which prominent LDS leaders argued strongly against allowing legal pot in any form. This surprising change of heart took many advocates off guard, considering the church has long been a primary opponent in the battle to ease marijuana restrictions. The LDS's global leader, Jack Gerard, is apparently no longer worried that medical stores will encourage broader pot use. In a statement backing medical marijuana, Gerard described being, quote, thrilled to be part of a movement that will, quote, alleviate human pain and suffering. There are some caveats, however. The compromise the church has agreed to will not allow patients who live too far from a dispensary to grow their own pot. It also outlaws the production of edible THC products like cookies and brownies that could potentially be appealing to children. Compromises aside, the simple fact that some form of medical cannabis is set to pass in conservative Utah underscores a radical shift in our society's attitude towards the once-feared drug. Medical cannabis use is already legal in over 30 states, with Missouri up to bat on the November ballot as well, and they also passed it.
Right.
Although still a tough sell on the federal level, individual states are realizing that it's easier to regulate a drug than to start a war against it, and much cheaper as well. As more states move to allow medical cannabis or even legalize the plant entirely, it seems increasingly likely that pot will become legal nationwide in our lifetimes. Will religious groups choose to be on the forefront of this revolution in thinking, or remain stubborn holdouts until the end? So it's a surprise. I don't think many people saw this one coming, with the Mormon Church changing its mind about cannabis.
Yeah,
good for them.
You know what's interesting about this whole thing is that many religions did they not? I'm pretty sure religions used to use cannabis and similar types of intoxicants in religious and spiritual ceremonies.
Oh, certainly. I don't think that's true of the Mormons, but some of them,
not the mainstream religions, and not the super conservative ones.
Well, yeah, but like the Indians passed a peace pipe, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking
American
even
Indians.
predating the mainstream religions.
Which that would have been mainstream for the Indians, because that would have been their religion.
I mean, like present
you mean
day,
Western
present day,
religion.
The mainstream religions currently are Christianity, Islam, to some extent, say Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Catholics use wine in their ceremonies.
Wine and cannabis are completely different things.
Well, he's
Chris.
talking about intoxicants.
I'm talking about intoxicants, so not necessarily just...
He was saying that some religions had historically used intoxicants.
No, I thought he
as
said
part of
cannabis. And
I said cannabis and intoxicants is what I believe.
Okay.
And others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some truth to that. Jesus turned water into wine, didn't he? Supposedly. That's the story.
Right.
I mean, I think that's
the Catholic Church with the wine. It's only, like a very small amount.
Sure.
And it's served to kids, young kids.
That's true. And that's somehow
Again,
legal.
Very small amount.
Doesn't matter, though. In
It's
some states, that's still going to be a criminal charge, right? If you serve a child with any amount of alcohol.
Right. I'm just pointing out they're not giving, full tall pours of
but
a glass of wine.
I bet you there's some acolytes back there who are trying to grab as many of those little, whatever. I don't. What do you call the little thumbtack size cups that they put them into?
The communion cups.
Teeny communion cups. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like maybe a quarter of an ounce of liquid, just enough to wash down the little cracker.
Yeah. They never. When I was growing up, I was in the Presbyterian church, and it was just grape juice. It wasn't actually wine.
Oh,
yeah, Baptist Church uses grape juice too.
Huge disappointment.
That's interesting. In New Jersey, so I only know about New Jersey, and New Jersey, I do believe it's actual wine. And
with which church?
Catholics. Catholic Church.
With Catholics, I believe
we're
it is
talking
supposed to
about
be wine.
things that aren't Catholic churches
Understood.
that use grape juice.
Right, but I'm assuming that they use grape juice because of the law?
No.
It's just their religion.
Okay.
It's their interpretation. And I've got a friend that is a Baptist preacher, and he says that what passed as wine 2,000 years ago was essentially grape juice that had just a very tiny amount of fermentation and wasn't enough to actually get anybody drunk.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know in New Jersey, at least I've always believed or understood in New Jersey, the law is something to the effect of you can drink, I think, in your parents.
There generally are religious exemptions for certain things.
Right,
in some states.
And some sort of religious exemption.
I think New Hampshire, I was reading an article that New Hampshire is one of the few states that has no exemption.
Right.
That there is no
Interesting. I wonder what the
exemption.
Catholic Church then does in this state.
I suspect they are ignored. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as parents, what I meant specifically was for parents who want to allow their children to taste some alcohol. Many states actually do have a carve out for that, but New Hampshire is one of the few that does not. It's actually, even though New Hampshire is very free in a lot of ways, there's some ways where it is very kind of old school conservative restriction.
Puritan.
Puritanical.
Yeah, there's a fairly strong Quaker influence throughout New Hampshire.
So anyway, good news on the cannabis legalization front. Of course, we'll keep you in the loop as that continues to develop. On the way here tonight, Darryl, you've got an update on Venezuela and what's going on with the inflation down there. Plus, Chris, you're going to be telling us about what I found to be a really interesting sounding court case where some motorists, did you say it was Michigan where this was going on?
Michigan.
Michigan motorists are in a court case basically alleging that chalking of tires, so whatever it is, the parking guards, right, the parking enforcers, they chalk a tire to see how long you've been parking somewhere, that shouldn't they need to get a warrant before they can do that?
Right.
And I think that's a really interesting question. So
they can't put GPS devices, tracking devices on
without a
cars
warrant.
Without a warrant.
So why is
would
chalking
they be allowed to chalk? Of course
Yeah,
not.
I think that's really interesting. So we'll get into that story coming up here in moments because we've been fighting literally the parking situation here for years in Keene, New Hampshire. And by the way, they're going to raise the rates. I don't know if you heard that, but Keene, New Hampshire, the city councilors voted to raise the parking rates and the fines here in town. So who knows? Maybe Robin Hood's going to make a comeback one of these days. More coming up here in moments. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Hour number 2 is on the way. You can take control of the airwaves here with us. This is Free Talk Live.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, November 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.33 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,219 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,413. Antiwar.com reports continuing the trend of almost daily civilian casualties in Saudi airstrikes against targets in Yemen. A Saudi warplane on Thursday attacked and destroyed a house in the Zabid district of the port city of Hodeidah, killing 6. The airstrike destroyed a family's home, killing the father and 5 of his children. The mother survived but was wounded in the attack. Saudi officials have not commented on why the strike happened. Saudi-backed forces are attacking Hodeidah in recent weeks, trying to seize the vital port through which most of Yemen's humanitarian aid flows. They've taken most of the city's outskirts, but the Houthis have prevented them from entering so far. This has meant Saudi warships and planes pounding the inside of the city on a daily basis, and many of the strikes seem to be hitting random houses in residential areas. Saudi officials, who previously were defending airstrikes as militarily justified, have had little to say lately and just aren't commenting on the deaths. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community. Services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a federal appeals court Thursday upheld a lower court's temporary order stopping the Trump administration from ending Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA. The Obama-era program had protected hundreds of thousands of young undocumented immigrants who arrived in the United States as children, known as Dreamers, from being deported. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Thursday that President Donald Trump's decision to phase out the program would cause irreparable harm to the roughly 700,000 people it shields. The court said in its ruling, "We conclude that plaintiffs are likely to succeed on their claim that the rescission of DACA, at least as justified on this record, is arbitrary, capricious, and otherwise not in accordance with law." The ruling means a nationwide injunction, which is allowing the program to continue, remains in effect. In response, the Trump administration has asked the U.S. Supreme Court for a review of the injunction. The program, started in 2012, allows young immigrants who came to the United States as children to apply for a renewable 2-year visa to work legally and saves them from fear of deportation. Applicants must have been in the United States since at least the year 2007 and arrived before the age of 16. They must also have been under the age of 31 when DACA went into effect, must be enrolled in school, have a high school diploma, or be a military veteran, and have a mostly clean criminal record. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the captain of the World War II-style tourist duck boat that sank on a Missouri lake during a storm in July, killing 17 people, was charged on Thursday with misconduct, negligence, and inattention to duty in an indictment by a federal grand jury. Kenneth Scott McKee of Verona, Missouri, was charged in a 17-count indictment, 1 count for each of the passengers who died when the vessel sank on July 19th. McKee was captain of the vessel operated by Ripley Entertainment Incorporated, which ran duck boat tours in Branson, Missouri, on nearby lakes Taneycomo and Table Rock Lake, where the incident occurred. He could face a prison sentence of up to 10 years for each of the 17 counts. There were 31 passengers aboard the boat on Table Rock Lake when hurricane-strength winds churned up the water and sank the craft, causing one of the deadliest U.S. tourist tragedies in recent years. McKee is accused of failing to properly assess the severe weather, instruct passengers to use personal flotation devices, or head for shore and prepare to abandon ship. McKee's attorney, J.R. Hobbs, said in an email that he was working out with his client how he should surrender to officials. In addition to a possible sentence in federal prison without the possibility of parole, McKee could face a $250,000 fine. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
CEO Jeff Potkel went berserk earlier this morning, becoming drenched in his own blood and the blood of several employees as he viciously demanded the staff produce more web video content, or he would, quote, kill them all.
We need more videos! Videos with bands! Random videos! Funny videos! I want a video with a celebrity! I don't give a shit which one! You think this is funny? I'll show you funny!
He threw our office manager's body against the door and then told us that nobody could leave unless we came up with 3 original video ideas. Then he made us watch as he bit his own tongue in half.
People don't want to read! They want videos! They want to sit at work and watch videos! Videos need to go viral! 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 Viral!
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. Coming up, the latest on Venezuela news. We haven't talked about them in a few weeks, so we're going to give you an update. Darryl's got that story. And then we're going to jump into first the story out of Michigan about some motorists who are taking to court. They're taking to court the question about should it be required to have a warrant in order to chalk someone's tires. So we're going to get into that with you tonight. It's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
But first, we're going to your phone calls and thoughts because you can bring up anything you want. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And there are 4 of those rooms. Just jump into any of them. We'll join you there. And then when we put you on the air, you're going to sound almost like you're sitting in the studio here with us. In fact, that's where we're going to right now to start this hour out. We got Flames on the line. He's in California. I think you're watching us on Twitch, right, Flames?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Welcome. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah. How you doing? So I'm pretty new to this as far as this radio thing. This is my first time viewing you guys.
Welcome.
So I'm nice to meet you as well.
How did you find us? Were you just kind of randomly on Twitch looking at the talk show category, or what? Because we're not particularly well ranked. Like we're not a well followed show. How'd you find us?
Well, I was actually thinking about I was trying to stream a game, so I was just looking through, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm new to this radio thing. I want to get into this radio. So I decided to, just scope around talk shows, radio hosts, and all that, and seeing you guys.
There we are.
With about 12 viewers, I was like, yeah, that's good enough for me. So here I am.
All right. So you said you're interested in radio?
I am. I want to get into the business. I want to, be heard.
Like actual broadcast radio, or like making internet content?
Internet content. That's like a whole nother ballpark, I think. But actual broadcasting, something like Howard Stern or Opie and Anthony were always one of my favorites.
So it's harder than ever. I mean, I don't want to discourage you. I just I just want to paint.
Be real.
Yeah. I just want to paint a realistic picture of the industry for you. I mean, look, the radio industry is struggling. And I'm not going to say it's on its way out. There's still a lot of people who have radio receivers in their cars and they listen on their way to work and or at work or whatever.
Right, but like the big broadcast companies, they're filing bankruptcy.
They are. Yeah, what was known as Clear Channels now, iHeartMedia and Cumulus are going through bankruptcy proceedings as we speak. And this is after they'd already tried selling off, hundreds of their stations to smaller groups to try to pay off the debt that they had. So the major mega corporations behind broadcasting are hurting in a big way. So it's the job offers out there are tightened up, and they've been pretty tight for a long time. So it's hard to break into the business. I
got a question.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
Why do you think radio hosts, why is it dying down? Is it, you think it's probably due to the fact with the whole internet thing, podcasting, streamers, and all that.
It's a lot of competition.
What's your insight?
I think they're nibbling away. I think internet content has been nibbling away at the radio listenership, and also broadcast television. Newspapers, of course, are hurting the worst.
Right.
If you're looking kind of like at the whole picture of old media, you've got newsprint, you've got radio, you've got television.
Right.
And newspapers are going under completely. They're just completely folding. They're selling for pennies on the dollar. They're cutting down their size of the papers. They're cutting down on the staffs. They're moving their offices. So like major cities like Boston Globe, I think was one of them recently, that moved out of the center of Boston and moved to some suburb.
Pittsburgh no longer has a daily newspaper.
Correct, because some of them have cut back to 3 or 4 days a week instead of all 7. So radio's in nowhere near as bad of a shape because it's still got a lot of penetration, and it's hard. The internet can't quite do radio like radio does, meaning that.
Well, one of the things that you've seen in broadcast radio is a lot of consolidation to where you have local,
that started in the 90s.
Local program directors who will say, I don't control the programming on my station. There's a guy at corporate that tells me what to run.
It happens. And it's common that happens. So basically, there's so many different factors. There's the factor that, as you're pointing out, Darryl, there's this consolidation happening, which, of course, hasn't helped radio.
Right.
It's hurt radio. It's resulted in fewer jobs being available.
And more stations sounding the same.
Correct, because they're centrally programmed. And then, as you pointed out, Flames, you've got all these internet choices that are available now. Podcasts have been around for 13 years, I think, at this point, since 2005.
It's probably easier to enter the market, but not to
enter which market?
Enter like podcasting and things like that.
Oh, it's so easy to enter podcasting.
But it's not easy to get on like broadcast radio.
Very hard to get on broadcast.
Even though it's really easy to start creating content, it's
hard
very,
to get an audience.
It's very difficult to get an audience, and most people don't last a year.
Right, because they don't treat it seriously. They don't, they treat it like a hobby.
Flames, you mentioned that we only have like 12 or 13 viewers on Twitch.
Right.
That's not our primary distribution point.
Absolutely, got it.
But, I'm looking at live shows on Twitch right now and seeing that there are a bunch of them that have 10 to 15 people. Some of these people might wind up at some point, nobody's watching. Why should I care? I'm just going to quit. I'm not making money. I thought I could make money because I hear this other guy talk about how he monetizes blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but have you noticed? And I've seen a lot of these streamers, Ice Poseidon,
never heard
Hampton
of it.
Brandon. Oh yeah, see, these are like these streamers.
These are big Twitch guys, right? These are Twitch guys.
Well, Ice Poseidon used to be part of Twitch. He got swatted and he did his own thing. Yeah, he's a fool. I liked him in his earlier days because it was more him. But the point that I'm about to make right now is that I feel that a lot of these streamers that I do see, they do a lot of outrageous things. The ones in IRL, in real life, they'll do these like dumb challenges, or they create content or even made up content. And it's like, so Ice Poseidon, I heard, got caught for making phony content, saying that something is real, but it was staged. And it's like, it defeats the purpose of IRL in real life. It's supposed to be, yeah. But he still holds a strong audience. And
did he move platforms after he got booted from Twitch?
Yeah. He transitioned right over to YouTube. He's got a strong audience. But even then, the things that I'm trying to explain is the promotion of like being an idiot, just to put it like very blunt.
But that works though. I mean, that's the thing.
It does. and it's like, but why does that work? I mean,
that's a whole other ball of wax, right? Like, so that kind of leads to the Idiocracy comment.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie, the Mike Judge movie, Idiocracy?
Yes, I do. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So for listeners who are unfamiliar, Darryl, can you do a brief synopsis of?
Welcome to Costco. I love you. So that's great. Supposedly set in the future, 500 years. The main characters had been frozen, and because only stupid people were having children, that's what they say. In sort of the thing. Right. only stupid people were having children, so just society got dumbed down.
Dumber and dumber over those years. And they wake up in this super dumb society.
Yeah, they were putting what is essentially Gatorade. They were calling it Brondo because they didn't get the naming rights for Gatorade. It's got electrolytes. That's what plants crave. No, you should put water on the plants.
So everything's dying because they're watering things with Gatorade.
What's in the toilet? Yeah. And if you know anything about Gatorade, the electrolytes are essentially salt, and if you put salt out on your crops, it kills everything. Nothing can grow.
Right, but they didn't have any smart people to tell them that because they were also dumb. Anyway, it's a hilarious movie.
Broke my house.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, it's Mike Judge, the director, the same guy who did Beavis and Butthead, for instance.
Yeah.
And the movie's called Idiocracy. But there's some truth to it, right? The idea that people who are not that intelligent are more likely to reproduce. And, of course, you also have the government dumbing people down as well with their government school system. If you want to hang on, I think it's an interesting discussion, Flames. It's up to you. You can stick with us. We'll bring you back here.
I'll be here for a while.
Flames is here, and you do have a great voice, by the way. I will compliment you on that. So I think you could do some radio kind of work. Not that you have to have a voice for radio. Nobody ever told me I had one. In fact, when I started in radio, I was told I didn't by somebody who. So don't listen to the haters. Anyway, more coming up here in moments. Why is the dumb stuff so popular? That was the question we were talking about. More coming up.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free. Take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. That's where our current caller is, and he sounds almost like he's sitting here in the studio with us because that's how great Discord is. You can go to discord.lrn.fm. You can join that. It's a chat server, and it's there 24/7. But during our show, our live shows, which are every single night from 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time, then you can join one of those Discord call-in line rooms, and we will get you on the air with us. In fact, we're talking about getting on the air in a variety of different ways, everything from radio to broadcast to internet broadcasts. So we're going to get back into that discussion. But I do want to let you know about Bitcoin.com. They're announcing their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. And with many of the world's leading brands on their roster, big brands like Home Depot, Domino's, Uber, Hotels.com, and more, a lot more. You can go and get them now with Bitcoin Cash by going to giftcards.bitcoin.com. Pick the card you want, follow the instructions on screen, make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet, and then sit tight, and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. It's giftcards.bitcoin.com. And speaking of Bitcoin, Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com is going to be joining us a little bit later on, I think at the beginning of the 9 o'clock hour tonight Eastern Time, to talk about this upcoming potential schism of Bitcoin Cash, and kind of let us all know what is this all about. For those who have not been paying close attention, and I admit I'm one of them, I just recently saw the headlines that this was a potential, and so I figured we should have Roger on to talk about this.
Happening, Wednesday, I think?
Ostensibly on the 15th, but it may be the 14th, depending on your time zone. I don't know exactly. So
okay, Thursday.
You want to get prepared.
Remembered it was either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on time zone, etc.
So I've heard the 15th, but I'm saying if it's the 14th in your time zone, it could be the 15th already, and I don't know which time zone it's going to do the thing. Right. So this is why we're going to have Roger on.
So maybe you can tell me if I'm going to lose my $10 worth of Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah. Well, you're probably not going to lose it. The question is, will it become Bitcoin Cash and another thing?
Oh, okay.
So you might have, X amount of the other thing. We'll explain all that when we get to it. But we're talking about the radio business and internet content, and Flames is on the line with us here. He's a new listener. He's watching us on Twitch for the first time tonight. Flames, you still there?
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
Yeah, man, good. Thanks for sticking with us, because I think you had asked an interesting question. You were talking about how, like, right now on Twitch, I don't have the number in front of me, but you had said we had about 12 or 15 people.
Gone down to 11.
There you go. Yeah, down to 11.
Low 10s, high 10s.
And sometimes if it's a good night, we'll hit 20. We'll be in the 20s on Twitch. But yet at the same time, you were citing some of these other streamers who do some stupid stuff, some fake stuff, and they just get thousands upon thousands.
Hey guys, this is Jackass.
Yeah. Right. So, and of course, that goes back to the 90s, right? Jackass was in the late 90s. And, there's plenty of prank videos on YouTube, which many of them are very, very funny. But
I feel there was almost like an art to Jackass, though, compared to these IRL streamers, what they do.
Well, sure. I mean, I can't say I'm intimately familiar with many of these IRL streamers, but you sound like you are. And certainly Jackass had a budget, right? So budget, is going to make a difference when you've got actual camera people and actual editors and post-production. That's going to make a difference on how a product seems. IRL is just somebody with a cam, right? Just kind of streaming whatever it is they're doing. Maybe they're cooking or shopping or whatever.
Right.
So go ahead.
No, IRL is the acronym if nobody knows. In real life,
right?
So it's a bunch of people who, as you were mentioning, they go out. It's for people watch these IRL streamers who, we've become this society of behind the computer screen. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them. They don't go out. They don't. Yeah, it's what
it's true. It's true.
Wow.
So they're experiencing or living vicariously through these IRL streamers. And
So wait a minute. I can actually watch people online from my parents' basement.
Yes,
that's right.
You can sit
and
there
you
with
can
a bag
probably
of
watch
Cheetos
people in their parents'
and then
basement.
I can order on GitHub or Grubhub, I think it is, and have my food delivered and my laundry picked
Uber
up.
Eats,
Uber
exactly.
Eats and, this is getting good.
A girl I know in Texas was saying when she came to the Bitcoin conference, it was her first time leaving her apartment in weeks, that she had ordered all of her food online and had her groceries delivered to her, which, it's cool that service exists, right? But yeah, it is definitely.
But it's
How do you get out of the house?
laziness almost.
It is
not
lazy. Yeah.
Almost. It is. It's laziness to me, and it's like promoting, not going out and experiencing life.
Let's go back to the question of why, because I thought it was an interesting question. I think we should finish it. Your question about, why is this stupid stuff, the cinnamon challenge or whatever, eat a Tide Pod.
Tide challenge, plank challenge.
The Kiki challenge.
Let's go eat Tide and poison ourselves.
Why does this stuff go so popular?
Let's jump out of a moving car and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, while intelligent conversations are not, right? And it has to do with partially the dumbing down of society. Generally, we talked about the government schools essentially not, doing a good job at educating people.
Horrible.
But secondly, there is something to be said for the idea that, stupid people are going to be reproducing more likely because, smart people are more deliberate about having children. So there's sort of a long-term issue there. But overall, the reason why, this can go back to not just today, but to decades ago with movies that are dumber, right? But funny. So like the Naked Gun movies, these movies where they just throw a joke a minute at the screen and see what sticks. The fact is, everybody can relate to a fart joke.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody can relate to that. Whether or not you think it's tasteful is another question, but everybody farts, so everybody can relate to it. I know, ladies, you pretend like you don't, but, you do.
Yes, you do.
And so things that everybody can relate to are going to be more popular generally. Whereas not everybody can relate to a conversation about, why bombing people in the Middle East is inherently wrong. Right? Or, whatever issue it is that we're talking about inflation or we're talking about some other kind of issue. So a show like this is always going to be nowhere near as popular as some crass comedian or just some random guy, blowing people away on a video game stream.
Right. Now, I did get interested in trying to figure out what TED Talks wind up getting on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I found their YouTube channel. They have 11.8 million subscribers, which more than I expected. The most watched video that they have has 33 million views. It is titled, "This is what happens when you reply to spam email."
Again, something everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that TED Talks is unpopular. Certainly there are some well-produced, smart things that are still popular, so it's not a total idiocracy.
That's why I decided to look, because, that is one of the more popular, intelligent things, but there are videos that I watch Smarter Every Day.
That's a good one, yeah.
Really good one, but they don't get anywhere near these numbers.
He's got at least a few 100,000 subscribers, though. He's no
but
slouch.
TED has 11.8 million.
Sure. Nothing's fair out there as far as, the world of content is concerned. So we don't complain about these things. We're only talking about it because you brought it up, Flames. It's just...
Yeah, I got it.
This is the reality.
It is.
I want to thank you for the call, and I hope we'll hear from you again. I thought it was a great discussion, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Flames.
Smarter Every Day, 6 million subscribers.
Yeah, that's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So we got more calls. Your thoughts are welcome. You can take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And you can bring up what you want here on Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Mother's Milk, a miracle elixir. God said, man said.com. Hauntings, dead spirits, and ghosts. Noah's Ark, fact or fiction. God said, man said.com. Sex superbug. Kiss panic attacks goodbye. Unlock your Holy Ghost pharmacy. God said, man said.com. Y chromosome Adam and mtDNA Eve. 21 signs of doomsday in the chip. Hours of text and streaming audio. God said, man said.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free if you want to join us on the radio waves. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us on the Discord chat where Gene the Christian Anarchist yells, "Ladies do not fart, Ian!" Because I suggested that everybody does earlier here tonight. And you can get in the chat room. You can talk to other people there. They're there pretty much 24/7. But during our show, you can jump into the on-air call-in line rooms, and then we'll put you on the radio with us, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio tonight. In the studio, by the way, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Don't forget about Anarchapulco. It's coming up in about 3 months from now, February 14th through the 17th. In Acapulco, Mexico. It'll be a great lineup of speakers that are just being revealed. I mean, we're just barely at the beginning of this thing being promoted, discussing entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships for 4 days among the sun and beaches of a world-class resort. Ron Paul is going to be the headlining speaker once again. So if you missed him this year, you get one more chance. Maybe you'll get to see him next year at Anarchapulco because he's going to be there. Also, Judge Napolitano, Doug Casey, David Icke, Cynthia McKinney, and yes, that's right, she's an anarchist now. In case you missed our interview with her from Anarchapulco last year, the former congresswoman who was a Democrat has become an anarchist, which is really interesting. She'll be there again. And also the president of Liberland, Vit Jedlicka, is going to be there as well. So that's just scratching the surface of who's going to be speaking. They're going to, of course, do Cryptopulco again, which last year was one of the days on one. So there was one stage last year, and they had one day that was Cryptopulco, so all about cryptocurrency. This year, in 2019, there's going to be an entire stage for all 4 days that's going to be Cryptopulco. So it'll be all about crypto. So it's basically going to be a cryptocurrency convention.
That's great.
With a bunch of anarchists. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Go to anarchapulco.com, code FTL. You'll get 15% off of your tickets. Code FTL, like Free Talk Live, at anarchapulco.com. Mark your calendars now. February 14th through the 17th. We go to the phones, to the fun, actually to the Discord on-air call-in line room where Horn Solo is on the line. Horn Solo, where are you calling from tonight?
Hey, I'm in Lower Alabama at the moment.
Excellent. Welcome. You're on the air.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of had a thought when you guys were talking about the cannabis legalization. And, I was thinking about how there's privatized prisons and how a good chunk of them have contracts that require them to have quotas, like lockup quotas.
Mm-hmm.
And as the proliferation of cannabis legalization, kind of spreads, that's going to kind of create a void in the prison system. And I'm wondering, are they going to actually focus on real crimes that are actually doing real people harm? Or are they going to just focus on some other type of drug or some other type of thing that's easy for them to kind of rake in the
I have
prisoners?
to ask, do we know, has any state that has such a law enacted a legalization of any kind?
Enacted what?
Enacted legalization, cannabis legalization.
Has any state that has what kind of law?
A law that says that a contract with private prison systems.
Oh, our private prison states also legalization states.
I'm wondering if there's any overlap, because if there's no overlap, I could see them just retaining the law that says
eventually it will be.
drugs.
If it hasn't happened already, it will have. Or it will.
So taking a look at a map here showing states that have private prisons, and for some reason when I tried to enlarge the map, it went away. But it appears that California is marked blue on this map, so I'm assuming that means that they have private prisons.
And they also have legalized cannabis.
Interesting.
What would also be interesting to look at would be the arrest rates to see, are they filling in the gaps with other drug users? Because if they were arresting 10,000 cannabis users per year, and now they're arresting 10, for whatever other stupid violations like smoking in public or whatever else they've made illegal. So if they're dramatically arresting a dramatically fewer number of cannabis users, are they increasing and arresting more cocaine users? Are they arresting more, huffing gas users? Or
Colorado also has private prisons.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's an interesting question, Horn Solo.
Yeah. And going back to these stupid things getting a lot of views, one stupid YouTube channel that I'm kind of a secret fan of is there's a company, I think they're in Texas. I'm not sure. But basically, they have security cameras in the back of their business, and they have no parking signs. And all of their videos are the security cameras where people come and park and they tow them away. And that's it. That's their channel.
It's not even entertaining, is it? I mean, does anything fun happen there?
Well, they kind of edit the videos so that they have sound effects, and they put up fun facts about different things that are going on. And and people do really stupid stuff, like they have the pee corner where everybody goes and pees. And, it's just really dumb.
Yeah, that is pretty dumb.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, all of us, I'm sure, watch some dumb crap on YouTube because it's entertaining.
How ridiculous.
Yeah. Is that one of them?
That's one of the channels that I like. These guys do a lot of gravity test. So they're Australian.
In case gravity's going to change?
No. So
we need to test it again and again.
No, they drop really big stuff or really heavy stuff on things. There's one where they dropped a reclining chair onto a trampoline.
Okay.
From 45 meters. They dropped bowling balls on stuff. They had some bulletproof glass, and they were dropping anvils and bowling balls and javelins.
Wow. Right on.
Throwing stuff off of 165-meter dam, doing the is it the Coriolis effect, to where if you backspin a ball, then it winds up like shooting out instead of dropping straight down. And they'll just measure, like, how far do different types of balls go? And they found that lighter balls, like a yoga ball, not necessarily going to, be that much different than something else.
Horn Solo.
And there are many, basically hydraulic presses squishing various items, and there's like a ton of these channels.
Yeah, and then there's a guy that I found, I forget, King of Random, I think, where he puts a lot of things in like a homemade vacuum that he has.
In a vacuum?
Yeah, a vacuum-sealed chamber, not like in a vacuum
actual
cleaner.
Vacuum, okay.
Yes.
What happens to them?
Depends on what it is. So Coke cans explode. Watermelons will sort of expand just a little bit and then compress, but they don't really do anything.
And then flies can't fly. That's another one.
Yeah, but some of those combine like science smart stuff with like fun, cool, stupid stuff.
But some of them don't explain all of the science. They're just like, here's some stuff. Let's watch this in a vacuum.
Fair enough, Horn Solo. Anything else you want to share tonight?
No, that's all I got. Thanks for having me on,
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. That, again, on the Discord on-air call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. I love the Slow-Mo Guys channel. I think that's one of the best ones out there. It's they actually do explain a lot of the kind of the science, some of the science at least, not a whole lot. It's not overly sciencey, but they do explain a lot of it, and they do some really amazing looking slow motion stuff. That's everything from looking at explosions in slow motion to paint splattering everywhere, and
they had the ones where they
stuff.
Turned a record player or a record sideways and got it going really fast, and it just shattered.
That was, I think, a CD is what they did there.
They also did records.
Did they?
Because they would show the huge warp and wobble.
Yeah.
Before it exploded.
And they have like $50,000 what they call Phantom Flex brand video cameras, like a $50,000 or more camera that can take as like hundreds of thousands of frames per second or tens of thousands. You can change the amount of frames per second, but as you're increasing the amount of frames per second, you actually have to lower the resolution because it can only record so fast based on. Anyway, it's just they've got some amazing tech behind that particular show. There's more coming up here in moments. In fact, YouTube even hired them to do a special series of things where they were cranking out even more slow-mo guys than they normally do. All right, there's more coming up here. You can join us, take control of the airwaves, bring up what you want. We'll talk about anything with you on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the purest for you and your family. For over 14 years, thousands have depended on Berkey Clean Water. The Berkey guy has you covered at home, work, and on the go. With water filtration systems of every size for every budget. Now GCN listeners receive 10% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN at goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
If you're looking for work, or even if you're not, here's an innocent mistake you really want to avoid. Never return calls before listening to your voicemail. Your wireless phone sends calls you didn't answer into voicemail, and it shows you phone numbers for calls you missed. Important, don't call back callers you missed until you have first listened to your messages. Otherwise, you frustrate people who bothered to leave messages by asking them to repeat a message they just left as your voicemail greeting instructed them to. If you're a job applicant, this alone could be a deal killer. And even if you're not, there are few things you can convey to someone that are as fundamentally maddening as, "I didn't hear you." With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free, bring up whatever is on your mind. Here are our numbers: 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Big thanks going out to our Free Talk Live amplifiers like Voluntary Gary, who is a gold amplifier, which means he's given $10 a month to Free Talk Live so he can help us advertise, market, and promote, which is what AMP stands for. Advertise, market, promote Free Talk Live to help us get on more radio stations. We've got 194 great radio stations across the United States in various different places that air this show throughout the week at various different times. And we could have more than that. We can have, 250, 300. We can have more than that. It's in theory possible. It's just a question is, can we effectively market the show to those stations? And that takes money. And that's what the AMP program is designed to do. So become an amplifier. You can use credit card, PayPal. You can use also Bitcoin, BTC, over at ampamp.freetalklive.com. You get some access to cool perks like the AMP-only Facebook group for those of you still on Facebook. There's also the AMP-only podcast that doesn't have the regular commercials that our normal podcast does. You get special access to some special supporters-only chat rooms on our Discord server, and more. Go get the full list of bennies over at amp.freetalklive.com. With you tonight in the studio, it's Ian here.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
We're going back to Discord once again, where there's another call on the line. This one is Free Market Penguin on our Discord on-air call-in lines. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I called to actually follow up on the Twitch guys call about the radio industry, but I did want to mention, I can't believe I remembered this URL, but it's a site, 11foot8.com, if anybody's ever heard of it.
I've heard of that.
What is it?
A compilation of videos of this 11'8" clearance bridge and all the trucks going under it at speed.
You know how most bridges, it's like 12-foot clearance.
No. Or 13,
but,
something like that.
Yeah, like this road is very clearly marked.
Yeah.
With like low bridge.
Look out.
No trucks over, blotted on.
Right.
Passing through, but all of these like 12-foot trucks going
God.
and just like the top getting ripped off.
Wow. And so there's a whole website dedicated to this?
It's a huge compilation. There's like hundreds of them, I think. It's like they call it the can opener bridge because it opens these trucks' tops up like a can opener, and violently because, of course, it stops
They're
right
going
away.
fast.
So G-forces.
Yeah.
Like 25, 30 miles an hour, but that's fast when you go to an immediate halt.
Right, and you've got a ton of, tons and tons of weight and momentum behind the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
All right, so you were promoting that. What
check
else?
that out.
What else did you want to say?
I just want to say congratulations for getting on the local station here, WNIS, on Sunday nights for all 3 hours. That was really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was really stoked to hear that. And how did that work out? Did you talk to the programming director and everything?
They just threw it at us, actually. We, as you know, we've been on WNIS on Saturday nights for many years at this point, and so obviously they like us. And an opportunity opened up on Sunday nights. I think they had Bob Brinker, actually. I think for whatever reason he snuck by us on that station. Whenever stations go off the air with different shows, or whenever different shows go off the air, we always call the stations, but that was one of them where it was tough to find an accurate affiliates list. So I don't think that
there are a lot of shows where it's difficult to find an affiliates list.
Anything at all, but you found some, but WNIS I don't think was on that list. So it was just out of the blue. I got an email from the engineer over there who said, "Hey, just to let you know, you guys are on Sunday nights all 3 hours now." So there we are. That's
okay, sweet. Yeah. So I know they had like Clark Howard best of pre-recorded. They didn't carry a show, and then they had some. They moved, when they switched up to some other pre-recorded stuff. When they did some movie rounds, I was like, oh man, they could have easily put. I did finally, like I said this like 2 years ago, or whatever. But I finally emailed the programming director like a few months ago. I was like, you have like pre-recorded. You don't have anything live. You need to go, take a look at Free Talk Live, get them on. And I'm glad you're on because they don't even carry your whole show on Saturday.
Oh yeah, well, they carry a couple hours, and we're not picky. We do, we take whatever it is that we can get, and we're grateful for it. So the WNIS is a great station. We've been on there for a long time, and so it's easier, of course, once we've been around for a long time, for the stations to expand their coverage of Free Talk Live. So I'm looking forward to the day when Michael Savage quits his show, because then that will likely mean that we'll get some more stations on board at that
He is reducing.
That's right.
And focusing on his podcast.
Yes, he is. He's cutting back in the new year, which reminds me we need to start calling stations about him soon. So anyway, thank you, Free Market Penguin, for the kind words. Appreciate hearing from you tonight. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And that is something else you can do if you, whether you can afford to contribute to the AMP program or not. Anybody can pick up a telephone or send an email to the local program director. If you, for instance, are in an area in which we do not have a radio affiliate, and you can go to our affiliates page at affiliates.freetalklive.com and scroll down the list and see, maybe you are in an area and you didn't know it, because that's a possibility. If you're an internet listener, you may not know that we're on your local talk station. But if you are not, you can always call that program director and say, hey, I really like this show. Would love to hear it on your radio station. And if we are already in your local market, then call and say thanks, because it's pretty rare that anybody calls to say thank you for anything. If you're a program director, normally you're going to hear from people who are complaining. You're going to hear from people who are mad about something that one of your hosts said, or mad about some content that they heard on your station. And so it's a refreshing change to actually have somebody call and say, hey, I actually really like that Free Talk Live show you've got on Saturday nights, or whatever night we happen to be on your local talk station. So thank you for that in advance. Our toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, we've still got the Venezuela money story. Darryl, you've got the latest on the inflation rate there in Venezuela, still going insane even after
to quote Donald Trump, it's huge.
It's huge. It's tremendous. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, I want to get into this story that you have, Chris. And I know we got Roger Ver coming up just around the corner, so we can't get too deep into it. But do you want to, I don't know, touch on the beginning of what's going on in Michigan, and then we'll continue it later on?
Yeah, sure. So this is from the newspaper.com. And basically, Michigan Motorist is fighting a tire chalking.
Just one or a group of them?
It's a motorist.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Sixth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals to rule on whether meter maids need to obtain a warrant before chalking tires. Meter maids may need to contact a judge to obtain a warrant before drawing chalk marks on car tires, depending on the findings of a 3-judge panel. The Sixth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals earlier this month heard arguments in a case that will decide whether the use of chalk to track cars and issue parking tickets constitutes an unlawful search, as if the meter maid had placed a GPS tracking device on the vehicle without a warrant. And as everybody already knows, GPS devices, they need a warrant to place on your car.
So
yes, they do.
Is this guy in the lawsuit saying that chalk and a GPS are the same device?
No, he's likening.
Saying it's a search.
It's he's creating a comparison, right?
Yeah.
He's saying it's like a search because you're investigating me and you're modifying my thing that I have without my permission, without my knowledge. You're putting a mark on my vehicle in the same way that putting a GPS positioner on a vehicle also is being done as a search.
So based on the limited understanding that I have of what is allowed as a reasonable search where you don't need a warrant, things that are clearly in plain sight, they don't need a warrant to look and see, oh, this person clearly has cannabis that they are smoking, or this person is clearly brandishing a weapon.
This is different. It wouldn't be an issue if the
car is on a public street, correct?
But they're marking it.
But they're marking the car. So there's a difference between marking a car and recording a license plate at a certain spot, and then coming back later and checking it and then writing a ticket.
Right. So this is a quibble. I mean, this is really, if they changed how if the court rules against, or the court rules in the motorist's favor and outlaws chalking in the Sixth Circuit, well, then those parking departments can just change their system and have some sort of mobile app that they mark down the type of car and the plate or whatever.
They'll just go to the automatic license plate readers that just read, oh, this car's been in the same spot.
Sure. So this won't stop the parking ticket departments, but it is still an interesting legal question.
In some respects, it is going to make it worse, I think, potentially.
I'm surprised it's made it to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals and hasn't been
Somebody's
thrown
got
out.
a lot of money. Whoever this guy is, he's got a lot of money for attorneys.
Yeah, you know what I think is interesting is
because he's just screwing with these people.
Anytime they conduct a search, like for a license plate, that's conducting a search, which doesn't need a warrant. But why doesn't that need a warrant?
Because it's their database.
It's on it's in public sight.
It's their database.
If you had a car parked in your garage with the garage door closed and a tarp over your car, they can't do a search of the license plate.
That's correct.
Because it's not in plain sight.
That's right. That's correct.
But the only reason that they can do a search of the license plate in the first place is because they made you put a license plate on your car.
That's true.
And it's in plain sight.
So
and when they're searching their own database.
I would think that would be
a
violation of your constitutional rights.
What, putting a plate on your car in the first place?
Making them put the plate on the court.
There's more coming up here. We can discuss it. Roger Ver also supposedly coming up next.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, November 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.33 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,219 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,413. Antiwar.com reports continuing the trend of almost daily civilian casualties in Saudi airstrikes against targets in Yemen. A Saudi warplane on Thursday attacked and destroyed a house in the Zabid district of the port city of Hodeidah, killing 6. The airstrike destroyed a family's home, killing the father and 5 of his children. The mother survived but was wounded in the attack. Saudi officials have not commented on why the strike happened. Saudi-backed forces are attacking Hodeidah in recent weeks, trying to seize the vital port through which most of Yemen's humanitarian aid flows. They've taken most of the city's outskirts, but the Houthis have prevented them from entering so far. This has meant Saudi warships and planes pounding the inside of the city on a daily basis, and many of the strikes seem to be hitting random houses in residential areas. Saudi officials, who previously were defending airstrikes as militarily justified, have had little to say lately and just aren't commenting on the deaths. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community. Services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a federal appeals court Thursday upheld a lower court's temporary order stopping the Trump administration from ending Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA. The Obama-era program had protected hundreds of thousands of young undocumented immigrants who arrived in the United States as children, known as Dreamers, from being deported. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Thursday that President Donald Trump's decision to phase out the program would cause irreparable harm to the roughly 700,000 people it shields. The court said in its ruling, "We conclude that plaintiffs are likely to succeed on their claim that the rescission of DACA, at least as justified on this record, is arbitrary, capricious, and otherwise not in accordance with law. The ruling means a nationwide injunction, which is allowing the program to continue, remains in effect. In response, the Trump administration has asked the U.S. Supreme Court for a review of the injunction. The program, started in 2012, allows young immigrants who came to the United States as children to apply for a renewable 2-year visa to work legally and saves them from fear of deportation. Applicants must have been in the United States since at least the year 2007 and arrived before the age of 16. They must also have been under the age of 31 when DACA went into effect, must be enrolled in school, have a high school diploma, or be a military veteran, and have a mostly clean criminal record. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the captain of the World War II-style tourist duck boat that sank on a Missouri lake during a storm in July, killing 17 people, was charged on Thursday with misconduct, negligence, and inattention to duty in an indictment by a federal grand jury. Kenneth Scott McKee of Verona, Missouri, was charged in a 17-count indictment, 1 count for each of the passengers who died when the vessel sank on July 19th. McKee was captain of the vessel operated by Ripley Entertainment Incorporated, which ran duck boat tours in Branson, Missouri, on nearby lakes Taneycomo and Table Rock Lake, where the incident occurred. He could face a prison sentence of up to 10 years for each of the 17 counts. There were 31 passengers aboard the boat on Table Rock Lake when hurricane-strength winds churned up the water and sank the craft, causing one of the deadliest U.S. tourist tragedies in recent years. McKee is accused of failing to properly assess the severe weather, instruct passengers to use personal flotation devices, or head for shore and prepare to abandon ship. McKee's attorney, J.R. Hobbs, said in an email that he was working out with his client how he should surrender to officials. In addition to a possible sentence in federal prison without the possibility of parole, McKee could face a $250,000 fine. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Bruce Springsteen completed his new sci-fi concept album Red Dust, which explores the lives of struggling 23rd century carbonite miners on Mars. The 14 tracks on the album address a range of everyday trials and tragedies faced by blue-collar Martian men, simply trying to put food on the table for their embryonically harvested juvenile clones while living under the hypocrisies of a corrupt planetary federation. In business, top financial experts have indicated that any hope of recovery for the struggling U.S. economy rests solely on Spokane, Washington resident Bill Laughlin, who is currently browsing the power tools section at Sears. At 10:10 this morning, Laughlin investigated a scroll saw which sent stocks soaring nearly 300 points. 15 minutes later, with Laughlin straying away to try on sunglasses, Congress called an emergency joint session to offer Sears tax breaks in exchange for sending an experienced salesman over to help. In other news, a local man pushes the 4 millionth button of his life, and an area teenager is smoking like he's been to f***ing war or something.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour of the program here. Still to come tonight if we get the chance. The Venezuelan Bolivar fiasco continues with ridiculous hyperinflation, and Darryl's got the latest numbers there. Plus, we just started talking about this Michigan guy who is suing in court. He's now at the appeals court level, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, saying that chalking tires is a violation without a warrant, meaning that police departments, parking enforcement departments would need to get a warrant if this guy's successful in court in order to chalk your tires. So we can talk about that more, but as I said, we've got a special guest here coming in mid-show. He is Roger Veer, and he's on the line with us on our Discord server. Hello, Roger.
Hi, Ian.
Hey, you're also on with Chris and Darryl here tonight, and are you still in South Korea?
I'm in Seoul, Korea for the next 3 more days here. And lots of cryptocurrency stuff happening here for sure.
What time is it there right now?
It is 11 a.m. on Saturday morning here.
Well, good morning to the future to you. Obviously, we didn't have you on to talk about South Korea, but can you give us a brief synopsis of what sort of exciting crypto things are happening out there?
I know the whole culture just seems to be enthralled with. They all love their smartphones. Everybody has, at least one smartphone, and cryptocurrencies just seem to be like a natural progression for them. But they all seem to be more interested in the ICO aspect, and they love ICOs, even though technically ICOs aren't really allowed at the moment.
ICOs are the initial coin offerings. These are sort of crowdsourced, crowdfunded ways for different ideas to get funded, many of which end up being scams.
Right. The theory is it's a way for people to crowdsource money, but in actuality, it's just a way for scammers to get money because they never actually wind up.
It's both. There's some things that actually are real.
Well, when 90% of the people that do ICOs never actually have a product that goes to market that they're raising money to put to market,
sure,
then people are just scamming one another.
Well, sometimes they have the best of intentions. But go ahead, Roger.
And Darryl, oftentimes when people start a brand new business with money they scrape together from friends and family, probably 9 times out of 10 those businesses fail as well. So
yeah, that's absolutely true.
Very true.
Go back.
There certainly are scammers, but there's lots of serious people trying to do serious work as well. But it's just
buyer beware.
Culture here. I was walking down the street 2 nights ago, and I saw some building with a big sign on the front that says, what did it say? It said BitCoex. And I thought that sounds like it might be Bitcoin related. So I went to bitcoex.com, and sure enough, it was a cryptocurrency exchange. It was a pretty big sized building with a beautiful sign out in front, and I'd never even heard of that one. But I guess there's more than 60 cryptocurrency exchanges based in South Korea, which is that's a pretty big number.
That is a lot.
Interesting.
Are there real life usages of cryptocurrency? Can you go and buy some South Korean food at a restaurant with Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, you definitely can. The last time I was here, I went to a barbecue restaurant and paid for the whole meal in Bitcoin Cash.
Awesome.
The only downside is you kind of need a Korean friend because all the shops and stuff that accept cryptocurrencies, I can't find them on any English websites listed, so you need somebody that can read Korean to help you locate them.
You need to know where to go.
We'll see if we can help change that as well.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
The main topic's the fork, is that right?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I've seen the headlines popping up here and there over the last few weeks that Bitcoin Cash might be it's definitely going to have a hard fork for an upgrade, but at the same time, there seems to be a group of people who are wanting to create their own Bitcoin Cash and try to have what they're calling a hash war. Can you summarize what's going on and give us, our listeners, the executive summary of what's happening and why it matters?
Yeah, am I going to lose my $10 worth of Bitcoin Cash?
If anything, you'll wind up with more money worth of Bitcoin Cash. So just be careful during the actual upgrade. Nobody knows for sure until it happens. My honest guess is that this is going to wind up being a lot like Y2K, where everybody was, terrified that, airplanes were going to fall out of the sky and the entire civilization was going to collapse. And some people are worried that the entire Bitcoin Cash ecosystem is going to have a disaster. But just like with Y2K, almost nothing happened. I think that's kind of going to be how the upgrade is on November 15th here. I think it'll probably wind up being pretty smooth and uneventful.
Well, the upgrades have been happening, as I understand it. This is a scheduled upgrade. It happens, I think, every 6 months that the Bitcoin Cash, or as it's called, the program is Bitcoin ABC. That's kind of the full node program, as I understand it. But that they are doing an upgrade to the whole system every 6 months. It's just that this particular upgrade, there's a certain, I don't know if you want to call them hostile group that is threatening to schism Bitcoin Cash into
group calling themselves N-Chain.
And they're calling their new thing Bitcoin SV, claiming that they know what Satoshi Nakamoto's vision is and that their version of Bitcoin Cash is the true Bitcoin Cash. Is that basically what's going on?
Every side's going to say that the other side is, hostile and the aggressor and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is everybody just kind of has a difference of opinion. But the majority of the businesses, the majority of the users, the majority of what seems to be the majority of the hash rate, like the version of Bitcoin Cash that's being put out by the ABC client, which was the initial client that broke away from the Bitcoin core and said, hey, Bitcoin's supposed to be peer-to-peer cash.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it wasn't for Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin Cash wouldn't even exist. And Bitcoin, SV, they're making a run up for it, and they have every right to do so. The part that really leaves a bad taste in my mouth in regards to this, they're talking about lawsuits and Bitcoin Cash is going to be illegal if Bitcoin ABC has their way, and just a bunch of nonsense. And for me, the entire point of cryptocurrencies was to design them in such a way that it doesn't matter what laws the politicians get together and pass.
Right.
Cryptocurrencies should be usable as a currency despite the law. And if people do things that are illegal with them, that's life. And
that's what I'm saying.
So, without getting too technical, what exactly is the disagreement over whatever this planned upgrade is?
Yeah, that's the most frustrating part, is there is almost no disagreement. The biggest disagreement is about the order in which the upgrades happen. So the ABC camp want to do some things right now and do some other things in May of next year. And the SV camp wants to do those things that ABC is going to do in May. They want to do them right now. And they want to do the other things that ABC is doing right now. They want to do that later in May. With two very small exceptions that they're arguing over, this thing that will allow permissionless, basically gambling or betting using Bitcoin Cash, where you don't even need a centralized bet server or website or anything at all like that, which people already can do. It just makes it way, 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 way easier, which I think is a great thing. If you want to, bet on your, next political election or sporting event or whatever, it's your money to do it with. Mm-hmm. So I support people being able to do that.
And
so
is that something that's coming in on Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin ABC version, or the SV version?
Right. That'll be on the ABC version here coming up on November 15th.
And so this is why I said hostile, because I haven't been paying close attention to the backs and the forths and the people sniping at one another, which is typical with these cryptocurrency controversies, and I find it frustrating and tiresome, so I try to ignore it. But you mentioned lawsuits. That to me sounds very hostile. If one side is saying we're going to sue the other side,
definitely hostile.
That definitely sounds hostile to me.
Yeah,
and it's even worse that not only are they're going to sue the other side, but they're also saying that they're going to get the police to arrest the other side. That's for every libertarian, that should be a pretty strong indication as to who the good guys are and who the bad guys are.
Right. So what do you recommend? Because obviously there's a potential that this other side is going to have enough hash power to, at the very least, create their own version of Bitcoin Cash, that there will be a potential schism coming up here on ostensibly November 15th. For people that are holding Bitcoin Cash, what do you think they should do?
Probably on November 15th, just wait and see. And, don't make any major purchases for that day and see what happens. And I think the whole thing will be settled within a couple of hours, to be honest. And,
so you don't
my recommendation...
You don't think it's going to schism into two competing currencies?
I think it's probably unlikely. But if it does, there's already 1,001 different cryptocurrencies, and my advice to people is use whatever cryptocurrency is the most useful to you in your life, whatever that one happens to be. Like, cryptocurrencies are great for everybody, and different people will like different ones, and that's just fine. Just like different people like different types of food, and we shouldn't all have to eat the same type of food. We shouldn't all have to eat the same type of cryptocurrency.
Roger, I want to thank you for coming on. I know that you are not feeling well, so I really appreciate you coming on Free Talk Live, and I wish you the best. I hope you get well soon.
Thank you so much, Ian.
That's Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again in the near future. I appreciate your time, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon if you can. We got more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
He bought a radiation monitor on eBay for $10.
You got to be kidding me.
A Geiger counter?
Yeah. So I said, let's put some batteries in it and get it fired up. So we fired it up. We started walking
You guys
around.
know how to spend an evening.
Yeah,
Get a
right?
couple of beers and hang out with a Geiger counter.
We were making readings of 10 Roentgens outside the house.
What's that mean? Is that bad?
Yeah, it is.
Is that dangerous?
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Right.
Now, where's the life-threatening one?
100 Roentgens. I'm really concerned now because I've seen...
But you weren't concerned before you got the radiation meter out.
Right.
Now you're definitely going to get cancer, Harry. What's the detector going to do for you, though? Really? I mean, if you're going to die, you're going to die, right?
The guy that just called in about radiation, first of all, you got a Geiger counter off the internet.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in, toll free. Join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. The Discord on-air call-in line rooms. It's actually where most of our callers have been coming from here tonight, has been Discord. You can jump in over there. It's free. Go to discord.lrn.fm. Another thing that's free, accepting cryptocurrency at your local business. If you have a real-life business that you want to accept Bitcoin or I guess it's not official yet. Bitcoin Cash is coming, I think. Dash, Zcash, Zen. You can now do that.
Ooh.
You didn't know that yet, huh?
I did not know that.
Zen is official with the AnyPay system over at anypay.global.
This is awesome.
Now, I don't think anybody locally is set up for Zen acceptance yet, but it is in the system. So
it's a start.
It's there.
It's a start.
Yep, and that's where you got to be. If you want to be in real life, if you're a cryptocurrency and you want real life acceptance, AnyPay is the best platform right now on the planet for it. You go to anypay.global, you sign up for free. It's so easy to do it. It's username and password. You create those and you're in. There's no application. There's no waiting. There's no approval process. You just get right in. You put your cryptocurrency wallet addresses in the setup page, and then you load their app onto the device at your point of sale. And by the way, I think I can say this. I haven't been told I can't say it, so I'm going to say it. They have completed their first version of their Android app. However, you cannot search for it in the Android store. You'll find a different app called AnyPay. I wouldn't install that one. I don't know who that company is. The logo looks strikingly similar to the AnyPay logo. So That's the thing with Android is anybody who wants to can put up apps on their service. But so right now it's behind the scenes, it's testing only, but I have a copy of it on my phone and some tablets here, and it's testing out. It's working well. So I think we're going to see that rolling out pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. I know they're working on an Apple version of the app as well. For listeners who are unfamiliar, the way AnyPay worked previously, it was basically a glorified web browser that you would sort of save the homepage to your.
It's referred to as a progressive web app.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to make it more stable?
It'll make it faster. That's
okay.
for damn sure, because the way AnyPay had to work previously was whenever they would open the app, it would have to download that entire progressive web app to the memory of the whatever device, the browser. So it took some time, especially on a slower internet connection.
It does.
Now it's just going to load it straight from the whatever storage on the local unit, so it'll be faster. And I've noticed it's already faster in my tests of it. So,
okay, awesome.
So we'll let you know when that's available officially, but it's in the works. Anypay.global, and of course, if you're on an iOS device, that takes longer because Apple has to actually approve every app that goes into their store. So they've got to go through whatever that process is, and that may take another month or so. Who knows? We'll let you know. Anypay.global, get on over there. So we just had Roger Veer on, who thankfully he'd actually joined us here. He wasn't feeling well. You could tell in his voice. I don't imagine it's because he's been debating with people on Twitter too much, but I've heard he's in the midst of this Bitcoin Cash schism drama with the guy who is apparently heading up this other side, this hostile side, the one that's threatening to schism Bitcoin Cash.
Oh, you mean fake Satoshi?
Is what people have been calling fake Satoshi, a.k.a. Craig Rice. Or not Craig Rice, Craig...
Right.
Right. Craig Rice is a local
Craig Rice is the local guy that plays his guitar downtown.
Craig Wright.
I get them confused as well.
He was outed as... somebody a couple of years ago did, like a Wire.com or something, did a piece where they believed that this guy was Satoshi Nakamoto.
I think because he said that he was Satoshi.
Well, there was some, evidence that they thought pointed to him, and there was a really long article they wrote about it. But then he ended up denying that he was Satoshi, but now he's claiming apparently that he's Satoshi. Satoshi Nakamoto being the founder of Bitcoin back in 2008, 2009. And Satoshi has disappeared since I think around 2010, 2011, and no one's ever heard from him or her since. Now you got this guy claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, claiming that his version of Bitcoin Cash will be true to Satoshi's vision, but for all the claims, there's no proof. Okay, so there's a lot of smoke, but there's no fire. And in order to prove that you're Satoshi Nakamoto, all you got to do is sign something with his PGP key. That's all you got to do, because the original messages from Satoshi had a certain signature attached to them, and only Satoshi Nakamoto would have that signature, the ability to sign in that digital way, that sort of cryptographically sound PGP. PGP stands for pretty good privacy. It's an old
system. Could also wind up moving some of the Bitcoin out of the very first block.
Correct.
Or out of the first wallet.
Right, because presumably Satoshi, who founded the thing, is the person who possesses the very first block and the Bitcoins that are associated with it. So he could move that and prove that he is Satoshi, that he has those keys, therefore he's Satoshi. So there's a couple of different ways that one who claims to be Satoshi could easily prove to be Satoshi, but this guy hasn't. He hasn't done that. And no one has ever done it, and nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. So now you got this guy claiming that he's Satoshi and that he's got the true vision, and he's going to try to destroy Bitcoin Cash with what he's calling a hash war against Bitcoin Cash. Now, what Roger pointed out there's a lot of companies who are already taking sides on this. There's a website out there. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is offhand. But
if you go to news.bitcoin.com, they have an article with a list. I was looking at it earlier, and Save It Purse has put out a statement.
Okay.
Most of the exchanges, Coinbase, BitPay, I think were both on the list.
Right. So there's a long list, and some of the major companies are sticking with the original Bitcoin Cash. They're not going to the new thing, the so-called Bitcoin SV. And I have to say, I don't think there's much to worry about. Right. Although that said, Vin Armani seems to be pretty concerned. He's our sometime Tuesday night co-host, will be on coming up this week. So I think that's actually going to be just in front of when this drama is supposed to go down. Yes, it's supposed to happen on Thursday next week. So we're just a week away from this. So we're definitely going to get, I think, Vin's perspective coming up Tuesday night. We'll see how he wants to weigh in on this, because he seems to be concerned about...
What is he concerned about exactly? Like
some kind of a hash war.
Yeah, but I mean, what does that really mean for somebody who uses a cryptocurrency?
Because I guess the worry is that they're going to somehow do some attacks on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, and I'm not sure exactly what.
Okay, so he's thinking about it from a security perspective then.
I think so.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm coming at this from mostly ignorance, which is why I wanted to bring Roger on to kind of get his perspective on this. And I know Vin Armani is a big Bitcoin Cash proponent, so I'm sure he's in favor of the Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin Cash side of this. It's just that he might be a little bit more concerned with the potential for various different types of attacks. Now, there will be, if Bitcoin Cash schisms into two competing versions of Bitcoin Cash, which is what happened to the original Bitcoin back when it schismed into Bitcoin BTC and Bitcoin Cash back in August of 2017.
And since then, there's been like 70 different forks of of both. There have been things that have forked off of Bitcoin Cash.
Have there been? Okay, I'm not sure what those are called, but for whatever reason, there's a bunch of press around this particular one. And so if you want to weigh in on this, you're certainly welcome to do so. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. And so there could be nothing happens. Maybe this is all smoke, no fire. They don't actually have any real hash power behind them. But if they've got enough hashing power behind them, and this is basically the computing power that's doing the mining of these things, if the competing group that's breaking away and wants to schism Bitcoin Cash into two has enough hash power, they will continue, and they will have their own version of Bitcoin Cash, which will mean that if you have, as you said, you've got $10 worth of Bitcoin Cash, you don't want to think about it in dollar terms. So let's say you have, 1/100th of a Bitcoin Cash. Well, if the schism happens, you'll then have 1/100th of a Bitcoin Cash, and you'll have 1/100th of this new thing, the Bitcoin SV.
Right.
So that's a potential, and is it likely? I don't know. I would say people should prepare for that eventuality possibly happening next week. There's more coming up on Free Talk Live.
Why is the black man black and the white man white? God said, mansaid.com. The Sons of God and Science admits a ghost species. The amazing power of going to church. God said, mansaid.com. Dinosaurs and man contemporaneously. You possess the world's greatest treasure. God said, mansaid.com. Sin Bones, St. Peter's Fish, hours of text and streaming audio. God said, mansaid.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You bring up whatever you want right here. Take control of the airwaves toll free at 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Also, there's the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
And don't forget, you can join us on our Twitch feed. You can watch the show on Twitch, now with Jazzy Cams, where you can actually see Jazzy, the studio beast. She is in the studio frequently in her bed, usually sleeping, but she's still super cute. So you can watch that on our Twitch feed over at twitch.lrn.fm. And you can watch us, too, because we're on there as well. And you can follow us on Twitch. We got over 500 followers, so thank you to everybody following this show and the other great shows that air on our Twitch channel. And every now and then we do some video game streaming, but it's pretty rare. Maybe once every few weeks. Sometimes I'll get into I'll do it in a few days in a row, but it's usually a couple weeks between game streams. Anyway, you can go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can follow us there. You can also give us your Twitch subscription from your Amazon Prime subscription. If you didn't know, if you're already an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get one free Twitch subscription per month. And what does that mean? Well, it means if you subscribe to the LRN channel, that means that whenever you load the channel up, you don't have to watch an advertisement. So you avoid the Twitch interstitial ads that they put into things. They get rid of that for the channels that you subscribe to. And again, you get one channel for free if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber. So we'd appreciate it if you use it on us, because it also means LRN.FM will get a couple bucks out of your Prime subscription, because that's money that otherwise Amazon is just going to keep. So if you want to send that our way, the instructions on how to do it are right there on our Twitch page at twitch.lrn.fm. Just scroll down a little below the video feed and you'll see the instructions. It's super easy to do. You just have to remember to do it every month, and we'll remind you. So we appreciate it. Once again, it's twitch.lrn.fm as we continue here. And by the way, Darryl, your girlfriend Jackie found a way with the Twitch app on her phone to do a pop-out of the video.
Okay.
So that way, if you want to have Jazzy Cam or us on your phone, like any place you want, like there's like a little video window that you can kind of move around with your finger, basically, that can kind of sit on top of whatever it is that you're doing on your phone. So you can now actually have a pop-out with if you've got the Twitch app. So anyway, twitch.lrn.fm. It's pretty cool. Here's a little bit more on this Bitcoin Cash drama from William Suberg over at Cointelegraph.com. Ongoing drama surrounding the upcoming Bitcoin Cash hard fork struck a personal note with the coin's best-known figures November 8th. That's Craig Wright evidently called Roger Ver his, quote, enemy. The hard fork, scheduled for November 15th, will see likely BCH split into two rival chains, Bitcoin Cash ABC, favored by Ver, and Bitcoin Cash SV, authored by Wright's N-Chain. The split comes as a result of Veer and Wright, among other figures attached to Bitcoin Cash, disagreeing over the coin's future, with those disagreements becoming increasingly public and strong-worded in recent weeks. On Thursday, tempers appeared to boil over, Veer releasing what appeared to be a screenshot of an email sent to him by Wright during a video about his thoughts on the hard fork. In the alleged email, Wright claims Veer hates Bitcoin and describes him as his enemy, before ending with a thinly veiled threat. "I am Satoshi," he writes, repeating his controversial assertion about being the creator of Bitcoin itself. The letter continues dramatically, quote, "Have a nice life. You will now discover me when pissed off," unquote. I mean, this really is very dramatic. And Roger is being very, I think professional in return to these very rude attacks by this guy, Craig Wright. It's like, look, if your coin's better, just prove it. If your coin's better, go ahead, fork it off, create your own thing. As Roger pointed out, anybody can do this. That's how Bitcoin Cash was created in the first place. So embracing the idea of the schism is sort of part and parcel to how cryptocurrency is supposed to work. If you've got a group of people who doesn't like the direction of crypto's going, make your own. You don't have to spend all your time attacking the other one. Why don't you spend your time promoting the thing that you're doing rather than trying to attack the thing that you don't like? I've never understood this. It not only does it happen in the world of cryptocurrency, but it happens in the libertarian world.
Oh, it happens everywhere.
Yeah. It probably happens in Linux, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Red Hat is the only version, and you shouldn't something
Right.
Fedora.
I try to stay out of it, but I have to say, there's a lot of individuals out there that they're not very sociable,
right?
Especially in the space that I'm in, and I try to stay out of it.
And they hide behind computers, which makes it worse. And so, again, it happens everywhere. And I've always said the same thing with the libertarian movement. Hey, if you don't like somebody's activism, just do your own activism and do it better.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about what the other person's doing. But instead, they just bitch and they moan. While Wright has yet to comment on the validity of the email, rhetoric has continued to come from his Twitter account. Certain posts capturing the imagination of online commenters. Summarizing his feud with Veer, the analyst known as Ray Redacted highlighted further accusations by Wright and Veer and Bitmain CEO Jihan Wu, claiming they wanted to promote child pornography. I mean,
what? This sounds like it's using emotional nonsense as opposed to logic and ration.
Yeah, it just goes on here. So anyway, there's just the most pathetic fighting going on in advance of this upcoming potential schism. The reality, though, beyond the personalities, is that this is going to affect people's money. And so that's the thing that, that's why I wanted to know how are people going to handle this? If you've got some Bitcoin Cash, what are your plans going to be? Because if this new Bitcoin SV splits off, well, any amount of Bitcoin Cash you have, if you have one Bitcoin Cash, you'll then have one of the SV version of it. So you'll have one of each. And so
unless they change the supply.
They could change the rules to where you would then have that was done with some of the Bitcoin forks where there was
I'm looking at a website, forkdrop.io. Something called Bitcoin X wound up changing the supply to 211 billion.
Right, so
it's a 10,000 to 1.
So if you had
ratio.
one Bitcoin Cash, you'd have like 10,000 of the new thing. So I don't think that's the plan here, but if it would be, then that would happen. But generally, it's a 1-to-1 split, and then you still have your Bitcoin Cash,
right?
But you also have one of, or however many of the Bitcoin Cash you had on the other side of this new thing. So the question is, what do you do then? Do you hold on to the new thing in the hopes that it becomes a thing and takes on a life of its own? Or do you immediately sell the new thing to try to get more Bitcoin Cash or Dash or, Bitcoin BTC or whatever it is that you favor? That tends to be what happens, I think, in most of these forks. When you mentioned, Darryl, there's dozens of forks that have happened off of Bitcoin BTC.
Yeah, Fork Drop shows 70. And
in the last year or so, basically.
Right. And I had heard that something had forked off of Bitcoin Cash, but then when I looked for that particular coin, it shows that it forked from something else that had forked from Bitcoin.
So this may be the first Bitcoin Cash fork then, if you couldn't find anything. I'm curious to know if there was
I've
one
also
previously.
not clicked on all 70 of the forks.
I was to say, I'm pretty sure I've heard of the Bitcoin Cash forking before, too.
I feel like I've heard of it, but I specifically looked for a list the other night, and I couldn't find one.
Right, and it could just be the 6-month regular upgrade that's called a fork. And that's
confusing.
why the word fork is a
It's
horrible
confusing.
thing.
That's why I've been calling it a schism.
There's hard fork and soft fork.
Right, and neither of those necessarily means it'll split the chain, right? So hard fork is where you have to have an upgrade, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've done the review on this.
That sounds about right.
The hard fork is where you have to upgrade the software in order to continue on with the thing as is, with whatever changes. Right. The soft fork is where it's backwards compatible. You can still be running the old software and you're fine. It won't break whatever it is you're doing. So that's the difference between the hard fork and the soft fork.
Okay, so those are forks of the code, but not forks of the chain.
Correct. That's the other difference is there's the fork of the chain, which may or may not happen on the 15th. If there's enough hashing power, it will split into two competing chains. That's likely what's going to occur, although Roger sounded like he didn't think he thought it might not. Right. So if they've got enough hashing power, then they can create their own version of Bitcoin Cash, and I think that's likely what's going to happen.
And that might be what this hash war thing is going to be, all right,
they're trying to take hashing power.
Throw enough hash stuff to create a new whatever.
I've heard that he has said he wants to destroy Bitcoin Cash somehow, which would require all the hashing power to leave. But that's never going to happen.
Enough of the hash power to where it's 100 years before the next Bitcoin Cash block gets mined.
Bitcoin Cash blocks are they changed their mining based on a certain running algorithm, so it won't be like that with Bitcoin Cash. It'll adjust difficulty quickly. More coming up. Free Talk Live. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. We've been kind of poking around to see if we can find out if there actually have been any Bitcoin Cash successful I like the word schism better, like where it splits into, two.
Right.
That kind of fork, the one where you end up with two different types of cryptocurrency at the end of the day. And you found one claiming to exist called Bitcoin Class, but I cannot find on their website any actual exchanges that list it. They show a bunch of exchanges, but say to be determined next to them. And their Twitter channel has been dead since February, so I think that one was DOA. That one probably never actually occurred.
Right. And how many of these 70 that are listed
on Bitcoin
here,
BTC, you mean?
On forkdrop.io.
Yep. Those are almost all Bitcoin BTC.
Right. So the question is,
many of them don't exist.
How many of these actually wound up existing other than somebody saying, I'm going to fork it?
There was a website that showed that. I don't know if it's the site you're talking about, but I did see.
Yeah, very few of these have any price listed.
If there's no price listed, there's a good chance it never got off the ground.
Yeah.
Until I can actually spend it, I don't know if I think it really exists. I mean, it exists at a sort of one level, but it doesn't really.
Well, as long as you can trade it for something you can spend, it exists at a sort of level.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about things that haven't even gotten to that point yet.
Yeah. Right.
Where you can't even trade them because nobody ever had. Right. Nobody ever mined them, so therefore it never even forked off.
Well, there are things that people are mining that you can't trade because it's not listed on any exchange.
True. That's true. That's a good point. In this case, we can't even tell if they're mining a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll keep you in the loop as this develops. If you do know of an actual fork of Bitcoin Cash that survived, that is continuing, I am curious to know. Because if not, this will be the first one if this one survives next week. We'll keep you in the loop on that as it develops. Chris, you had brought in this story about a motorist in Michigan who is suing the government over what he says are illegal searches whenever they chalk your tires.
Right.
Let's hear more on this.
So the next part of this story is super interesting. So the city attorney, Brett T. Meyer, conceded that the use of chalk constitutes a search.
I don't think anybody has ever said that it's not a search. The question is whether or not it is a reasonable search or whether or not it requires a warrant. That is the argument before the court.
Mm-hmm.
So let me continue. But he insisted such a search is inherently reasonable. So, yes, you're right. I just wanted to emphasize that one part, that he conceded
he admitted
that
it was a search.
Because
we know the police here have told us it's a search because somebody, like 5.5 years ago, was pouring chalk on some tires.
No. Pouring water on the chalk on tires.
I'm sorry, pouring water on the chalk.
Had a spray
I wasn't going to throw anybody under the bus because I don't know what the statute of limitations is, but a police officer had stopped you for something completely different and then said, oh, and by the way, some of your buddies are washing chalk off of tires.
Right.
That's a felony. It's interfering in a police investigation.
Good point. Well, maybe it wasn't
So we've
Garrity
known that it was a search.
I don't know who it was. Well, yeah, I know that, but the question is it an invasive search? Is it unreasonable? And he says it's reasonable, the attorney.
I think, and here's why I think it's unreasonable. Okay, so it's if you compare it to the GPS situation, okay, where
if they put a GPS unit on your car.
So legally, they can follow your car, they can tail your car, and there's no issue with it because you're
with a warrant.
Without a warrant,
no, they have to put a warrant on for GPS.
I'm talking about without GPS.
The cops could just follow you around town.
Yes, correct.
Right. If
they could
follow
tail
you around town, okay, they can do that without a warrant. They don't need a warrant to do that. But they do need a warrant when they place a device on your car. Okay?
Yep.
And so I would make the argument that it would be reasonable for them to take your license plate or a picture of your car in a spot and come back later, and if it's still there, issue you a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as they start modifying or attaching something to your vehicle, that's at the point in which it's unreasonable. And it seems to me that's what the courts have previously decided already with the GPS case.
From a philosophical level, I agree with you, but I know what the case law is on this.
Okay.
And from a legal standpoint, this guy is wrong, and I'm surprised it even got this far.
Well, now wait,
and hasn't been thrown out in court.
Well, hold on. What happened at the lower court? Did he win or lose at the lower court? Who's appealing this particular case? Because it's at the Sixth Circuit Court.
Let me continue, and
please.
maybe it'll tell us more. Ellison countered that there is no fundamental difference between the chalk mark and the high-tech satellite tracking beacon that the High Court said was unlawful. It's the same thing. It's an intrusion upon private property for extracting information, Ellison said. It's the same information, where the vehicle is parked and where it's going. It's just the technology is less complex. Trial Judge Thomas L. Ludington had tossed out the case at the first
opportunity.
Okay. Yep. At the first opportunity, appellate judge Raymond M. Keithledge noted that the argument was novel and interesting, but wondered whether the case would get very far if it proceeded to the stage where the government would argue there is an administrative search exception to the requirement to get a warrant. It leads to a balancing test, which would probably be a very scary thing for you, Judge Keithledge told Ellison. Judge Barnes B. Donald wondered how the Fourth Amendment exception allowing warrantless searches for community caretaking could possibly apply when there is no matter of public safety involved. Very good point. As Judge Keithledge commented, this is
this from the hearing in front of the Sixth? Is this what they're reporting on? As
Judge Keithledge commented, this is really a revenue-generating regulation, she said.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's where it stands right now. That's it.
So they've had the hearing. The Sixth Circuit Court heard this case
month.
And we're awaiting the ruling.
Well, I don't know what the exact date was, but the story is from 10/16. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah, it said earlier in the month. So the hearing was in October.
Right.
Hearing was basically a month ago.
Now, I don't know how long it takes for appeals courts to issue rulings.
It can take as long as they want.
I would think it would be a while. I don't expect that there's any update to this story.
I hope we get an update, though. I mean, I love it when we actually know what happens in these cases instead of just kind of reporting on it once and then forgetting. And because we don't follow up on a lot of this stuff because we don't have a crack research staff that's out there trying to figure out what's happening on every other story. So if you hear about this getting updated, if you're in Michigan and you see the story come out, please let us know.
And there's not always a story. There's not always an update to stories. Like a lot of times newspapers and similar, they report on something once and they just don't follow up.
It's a federal case. Anybody with Pacer can wind up subscribing and getting updates.
Pacer, you can do appeals courts on Pacer?
It's a federal court, Ian.
Oh, right, okay.
This is a federal hearing.
Gotcha.
Which is why I'm surprised it's gotten this far in a federal court and didn't get tossed out.
Well, it did get tossed out initially, but they appealed. So therefore it's in the appeals court.
The federal appeals court can say, we're not hearing it. They are not obligated
said it was
to hear. They're not obligated to hear it, which is
one
why
of the judges said it was novel.
I think it is.
I agree.
I think he has an argument here.
He has an argument. Ultimately, it won't make a difference in the long run because, like Darryl pointed out, they could just, I don't know which one of y'all did it,
probably
but
Darryl.
They could just, have a tracking, their own personal way of tracking what cars are where, and have to use chalk.
I think there's an argument to be made. I don't know that the outcome is what we're going to want it to be, because ultimately, I think you're right. They're just going to end up using technology, more advanced technology, a computer system to scan the license plates, which already exists. I actually have to wonder if maybe I have to wonder if maybe the reason for this case is actually financially motivated by a company that develops technology to track license plates. We know the technology exists already, and certain cities are using it.
Good
so
question.
If they can get a ruling that says it's illegal, basically cities will have to buy their technology.
Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yes, we had a blue tidal wave here in New Mexico.
What?
No, you didn't. There's no
ocean.
Well, blue tidal wave, blue tsunami. Like we got Democrat.
This is a political thing. Oh,
it was called the blue wave, not a tidal wave and not a tsunami.
Tidal wave sounds way more awesome, though.
Yeah.
But we had the reason we had it is we got 3 blue Democrat congresswomen and men.
This isn't news, though. It was already a blue state. New Mexico already went for Hillary in 2016 and was expected to go for Hillary because it's a blue state.
But you know what? We had a Republican governor. We have a Democrat Latino governor now, and we have 3 Democrat congressmen, and we have 2 Democrat senators, and then we flipped like the 8 seats within our state.
I heard the Democrats also took over the New Hampshire State House as well, although there was a governor reelected who's a Republican. So we got gridlock, which is great news.
Yeah,
here.
The New Hampshire House is flipped back and forth between R and D.
That's why I like New Hampshire, because they just keep on trying to make it so not one political party is in control. For whatever reason, it always ends up like that in New Hampshire. Every 2 years, the power flips. See you tomorrow. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, November 9th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.33 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,219 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,413. Antiwar.com reports continuing the trend of almost daily civilian casualties in Saudi airstrikes against targets in Yemen. A Saudi warplane on Thursday attacked and destroyed a house in the Zabid district of the port city of Hodeidah, killing 6. The airstrike destroyed a family's home, killing the father and 5 of his children. The mother survived but was wounded in the attack. Saudi officials have not commented on why the strike happened. Saudi-backed forces are attacking Hodeidah in recent weeks, trying to seize the vital port through which most of Yemen's humanitarian aid flows. They've taken most of the city's outskirts, but the Houthis have prevented them from entering so far. This has meant Saudi warships and planes pounding the inside of the city on a daily basis, and many of the strikes seem to be hitting random houses in residential areas. Saudi officials, who previously were defending airstrikes as militarily justified, have had little to say lately and just aren't commenting on the deaths. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community, HORIZEN.global. UPI reports a federal appeals court Thursday upheld a lower court's temporary order stopping the Trump administration from ending Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA. The Obama-era program had protected hundreds of thousands of young undocumented immigrants who arrived in the United States as children, known as Dreamers, from being deported. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled Thursday that President Donald Trump's decision to phase out the program would cause irreparable harm to the roughly 700,000 people it shields. The court said in its ruling, "We conclude that plaintiffs are likely to succeed on their claim that the rescission of DACA, at least as justified on this record, is arbitrary, capricious, and otherwise not in accordance with law." The ruling means a nationwide injunction, which is allowing the program to continue, remains in effect. In response, the Trump administration has asked the U.S. Supreme Court for a review of the injunction. The program, started in 2012, allows young immigrants who came to the United States as children to apply for a renewable 2-year visa to work legally and saves them from fear of deportation. Applicants must have been in the United States since at least the year 2007 and arrived before the age of 16. They must also have been under the age of 31 when DACA went into effect, must be enrolled in school, have a high school diploma, or be a military veteran, and have a mostly clean criminal record. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the captain of the World War II-style Tourist